It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox beat the Colorado Rockies 10-2 for a second straight game yesterday evening at Fenway Park. Lucas Giolito breezed through 6 shutout innings. Jarren Duran, Romy Gonzalez, Wilyer Abreu, and Carlos Narvaez all homered. Sox have now won 6 straight. They're tied with Seattle for the final American League wildcard spot. They'll play Tampa Bay at Fenway Park tonight. Alex Cora said after last night's game, Alex Bregman won't be activated off the injured list this evening, but he is expected to return this weekend. Bregman, in case you missed it, will not play in the All-Star game next week. The NBA yesterday announced its groupings for this year's Emirates Cup. The Celtics will be in Group B with Detroit, Orlando, Brooklyn, and Philadelphia. 34-year-old Ryan Bork, the son of Hockey Hall of Famer Ray Bork, has been hired as a new assistant coach with the Providence Bruins. And at Gillette Stadium last night, Lionel Messi scored 2 first-half goals, and Inter Miami CF beat the New England Revolution 2-1. Carlos Gil scored in the 80th minute for the Revs, who are now winless in their last 5 matches. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catch's Law. At Catch's, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit catcheslaw.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
New England plays here.
Down the right side, it's a separation. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
When has that been necessary to fact check?
and Hardy
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
on 98.5.
Hey there.
Sarge GPT loading up.
Let me hear you say, boo, boo, boo.
Crush me, mommy.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the Pope.
I'm a goddamn drag!
Yeah, good luck, dude.
Nothing like a good tushy.
I love you. And I think you know that. Excuse me?
Toucher and Hardy
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fun. Having some fun.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
I miss it. I need some butt. Contact me, please. And so we decided to get married. I said, you want to get married? And he said, yeah. So we go see this guy. And he said, I can marry y'all this week. So we had to go through all the inmates, send out invitations, you know.
Wait a minute, hold the
We
hell
do
up.
all that.
Hold the hell up. Invitations
Yeah, to come to the wedding.
in prison
In prison.
with a prison wife
With a prison wife.
that you gonna marry in prison.
In prison.
You send out invitations.
Yeah. My prison wife got ready for the wedding.
Hold on. Invitations. Who y'all send the invitations
To
to?
all the inmates and to some people that works on. You know, caseworkers, wardens, and
It's the booty lover. Self-described
that's
booty.
what I miss. Booty.
You love booty. He's heterosexual on the outside, but for 40 years he married and turned out many a man in prison.
I wonder if the warden attended. You know, maybe brought his wife in.
I was led to believe that you weren't allowed to behave that way in prison, that they wanted to keep things kind of platonic between the men in prison. But the idea that I wonder if they hired an artist, because you hear sometimes prison artists are, hot commodities because they can either draw erotica or draw beautiful notes to send back home to girlfriends. Maybe they designed an invitation in exchange for commissary. It's difficult to say. But the booty bandit, the lovely, self-described booty bandit in prison.
Who still misses it so.
Send out some pictures of, I want to see what you got.
Yeah, he was calling out to the audience of that interview to, even though he's married to a woman now and he's not gay, he does miss booty and having
And
sex.
she don't do the booty thing, but
Yeah, if she did, it would make it almost tolerable to be with her.
Right.
Because
But
you can
he-
pretend it's a man.
But he needs something, so.
can you do that for me?
It kind of shrinking away. Well, maybe, please.
Because he does that. I've watched like probably about an hour of this, maybe more, of this guy being interviewed, and and he's always interviewed, at least the ones that I've seen, by like a big black guy, like that's not having any of this. Like he's like not very happy about the way that this is going. He knows it's going there. It's kind of a Marx Brothers situation, like where the interviewer is the fat lady in all the Marx Brothers movies, and then the booty bandit is the Groucho Marx character. And there was one where the Groucho Marx character says, or booty bandit says, like, "You cute. I mean, if you in prison, I don't like your booty." And the guy does not like that. He doesn't like that. That's disrespectful. But then he can't get that mad at the booty bandit because he had the booty bandit on.
Right.
And the booty bandit is just expressing himself. And he said, if we were in prison, not now.
Right.
Prison.
Sure.
Where it doesn't matter. Where it's not gay.
You had mentioned yesterday when we were talking about this Fleece Johnson, Fred, that you, after watching all these interviews, that you had an idea that he was very persuasive, that was the way that he was able to get a lot of these men turned out, was he was able to kind of manipulate them with his words. And that's what I get from that last clip that Hardy played, that, would you do it for me? Like you get a little taste of his mental prowess.
Can you do it for me?
Well, that's the way. He's not like again, the reason this isn't horrifying is because he's not like a big,
he's
huge
a slight
guy.
man, yeah.
Like a slight old guy. So the way he's advertised going into these interviews is, it captures you. He's the booty bandit. And then the interview starts with how he was able to successfully like turn so many guys out, like through his rap in prison, like how he was able to do that. And then I told you yesterday the story of he had a friend he was in the drug trade with, and they were, doing drug trade and stuff like that. And then it was the booty bandit's birthday. And the guy he was in the drug trade with was like, "Hey, come to this room. I have a present for you." And they get in the room, and he goes, "What's the present?" He goes, and the guy goes, "My booty." And he goes, "I can have your booty?" And he goes, "Yeah." So he has his booty, and then the next day the guy's like, "All right, let's get back to business." And he's like, "Oh no." The booty bandit says, No, we can't be in business together. You're my lady now." And that's what he says. And that was one episode of the Booty Bandit.
We didn't talk yesterday.
Romance and finance, they never mix.
But then there's a lot of videos that come out of that, and I touched on this yesterday, that, now you're in the algorithm, that's fine. And it's a lot of prison stuff, which can be interesting because, I think everyone knows someone who's been in prison, and they don't talk about prison like this. Like no one I know that's been in prison talks about like this kind of stuff going on in prison. And so you click on the prison thing, and then it's just a bunch of people like bragging that they were around like horrible crap. And then I don't get why that's something that we're like, "Oh, that's awesome, cool guy." Like, that's great. You super tough in prison, like awesome. And then some of them I don't even believe. Like some of them are obviously lying. So I got the Booty Bandit has led to itself to many imitators that are not. That are just more just like annoying and or just seem like violent people that I wish were still in jail. That they're not letting you think that, oh wow, those are rehabilitated people. The Booty Bandit, I mean, he's in his eternal prison now that he's married to this woman. Seems like to me, doesn't it to you? I mean, he's obviously gay.
And she don't do the booty thing, but
he's like, but yeah.
We didn't talk yesterday about you're aware of the fact that he is a character on the animated show The Boondocks. Did you watch The Boondocks when it was on back in the day?
I know that it was a cartoon on Adult Swim, and I know that it was like a cartoon like in the paper. The Booty Bandit, like he was?
Yeah, because Fleece Johnson's been, appearing on interviews and such for decades.
Oh, okay, I did not know that.
So and because of that, he was on some, prison documentary or something like 20 years ago, and the creators of the Boondocks saw that and were fascinated by it. So they used him to inspire a character called the Booty Bandit in the show, and they use him in a scene where one of the younger characters is being like scared straight. So they bring them. They bring the youngins into the jail, and the Booty Bandit is telling them how things are going to go.
Okay,
I
because
sees it, I likes it. This is one of his catchphrases.
right, because usually they're a lot more frightening in those Scared Straight things. If you've ever watched Scared Straight, they that's where the whole Dave Chappelle thing came in. The whole maple syrup situation came in. That they would use maple syrup and things of that nature.
Right.
But that's all available for you thanks to the internet. So there you go. I didn't know Fleece Johnson has been around for this long. I wonder why it took me so long to him to get on my radar. Because
We're watching the right things.
Well, I mean, these aren't old interviews. I mean, these are interviews from like this year or last year, certainly. These aren't, old Geraldos or something. I mean, this is the Booty Bandit being interviewed by some podcast. Do you ever see the video podcast of like the nerdy looking guy that has all the tattoos that was in jail and it's just about people being in jail?
No.
He's like a nerd looking guy. He's from Long Island. He's a white guy. He was like in some kind of either drug or white collar fraud scheme, and he ended up going to jail, and now he has a podcast where it's just people that were in jail, and that pops up from now and again. I have to because you'll go onto YouTube. Usually YouTube is something that either someone will mention something like an old Saturday Night Live skit, or I'll be reading a book and it will reference something and I'll want to see it. And in a way that's cool. Any book you read, they'll go like, oh, and then George Carlin was on, the Smothers Brothers in like 1965. And you're like, oh, and then you put George Carlin Smothers, and then right there in a second, it's up there on the computer. But then I have to make myself not fall down these rabbit holes because so much of YouTube is terrible that it's not just that archival stuff now. It's new content that's awful. So there is that, and it can just get depressing. Another big thing is individuals in their basements playing the news or saying, like, did you hear this happened on so-and-so's show?
Sure.
And then it's just them talking about what happened on so-and-so's show, and it's not particularly funny. It's just, or funny at all. It's just...
It's commentary. It's news, and you get the news and commentary, but the commentary from someone else who delivers the news.
Right. It's someone like reading news and then the person commenting on the reading of the news. And you're like, well, then that gets depressing. And then that algorithm is really the algorithm they want you on.
It's tough to break out of, too. This has happened to me a lot.
Yeah.
Where you get into it and you're like, all right, please, I don't need 5 videos right at the top there.
Yeah, you're trying to watch a video of a lady coloring and whispering, and then the next thing you know, you're down some rabbit hole where you think like all this news is breaking and it's nothing. But,
so that's the ASMR right now? The coloring and the whispering?
I am on a very low ASMR point right now. It's not working as well as it used to.
Well, I mean, it becomes oversaturated in your mind, and then nothing works.
Yeah,
that's true.
And
but
sometimes the girls are too hot, and
Yeah.
and that's it. I don't like that because then I want to see if there's pictures of them on the internet, and there are. And so, like,
Sure.
then you're like, that they've released, and so like it. If there's with the ASMR, it has to be very specific. If it's a guy, you can't see his face. It's got to be from his perspective.
What about the guy, the calligrapher with the pens? What happened to that guy? The ink pen.
The relaxing ASMR.
Yeah.
We've had a 15-year relationship. I've kind of been out on him. I like gentle whispering sometimes. I like her. I like who else does ASMR that I like on a regular basis? Well, there's one puffin ASMR, but she's too hot. So that's a problem. Like, she's really hot, so that's too much for me. I can't watch it.
Doctor, give me the news. Jeez. What the hell is wrong with you?
Wait, what's that from?
That's the Dr. ASMR guy who just whispers about things that are wrong with you.
Oh, that's a parody. I don't like that.
Doctor, give me the news. I've never seen a case like this before.
Huh. Did you introduce that to all of us?
Yes.
No, I don't know who that is. Dr. ASMR, I don't know who that is. There's one guy that sketches out the like mysteries of the universe. He's pretty good because you don't see his face, and he like does these drawings, but sometimes it's too interesting.
Yeah, it has to be a certain lane that you drive in. You were talking about the woman being too good looking because, like you said, you kind of veer off onto a tangent
into a sexual fantasy.
That doesn't get you to sleep. So
no.
All of a sudden, it's an hour later.
Or it doesn't get you to sleep the way you intended it to put you to sleep. It's a rigorous activity that leads to sleep. So yeah, you know who's there's someone that's neither, in my opinion, too hot to watch that is good at it. And then I saw that she's like an internet phenomenon outside of the world of ASMR is a girl by the name of Brooke Monk. She has like 3 million views of her ASMR, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Now she's cute, but she's like probably like a 22-year-old girl. It's not what I look for when I look on the internet for. So, but it's ASMR, and she is. I mean, you'll find her attractive. She's like good looking, but it's not. She's not like hot enough where it's distracting, and she does decent ASMR. And she just got into the thing. She was already famous on the internet, and she started doing it. So that's on there too. But I don't find her distractingly good looking, like Puffin ASMR, who's too good looking. It's too distracting. I get too wound up by it, Puffin ASMR.
No, you need your ink guy.
Come on. Let's talk about ink, baby. Let's talk about jade, purple. Let's talk about all the good things that may be. Let's talk about ink.
You may be glad that you did.
Yeah, that one is, if you want to know boring, he just like picks up stuff like on his desk and talks about it.
For 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah. And that one, though, is a little annoying because he's like, you're going to be glad you stuck around. He's like, well, I'm about to, if you're bored now, just wait. This is going to get really exciting. That's what he says. Like, I'm not making it up. And like 40 minutes later, he has these syringes where he draws pen ink into them and then releases them into a glass of water. And you're like, okay.
Ta-da!
Yeah, like, huh, this isn't cool at all.
Hardy, do you use ASMR at all?
No. He didn't like that. He likes his state of constant mild annoyal.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll play golf in this weather, but the ASMR is too annoying for him.
Okay.
I need constant sensory overload. It's like, nah, just throw more at me. Just keep it coming.
Yeah.
Noise, sound, lights, whatever.
But to be honest with you, my overall time on the iPad, because the iPad, my phone, I'm as much on it as I ever was. The iPad is used only for naps. I don't use it to go to bed at night. I just use it, like I'll get on it before I take a nap. And now I'm realizing that that's not the best way to go about things either. Because if I just stuck to ASMR, I would be okay. But what happens is, like, John, is that you bring it up and then it's got all these videos. And then you can't help it. I mean, something looks like it's interesting. They'll be like, and I've learned my lesson. They'll be like, the Joe Rogan like lost his crap and he's losing his mind. And you're like, okay, I'm like anyone else. I don't listen to Joe Rogan, but I want to see him lose his mind. And then it's like nothing.
Yeah.
Just some guy with like dyed hair, blonde hair, yelling and screaming about the politics, and I'm like, oh my god! And he's not even on Joe Rogan. He's just sitting in front of a picture of Joe Rogan, and now I'm like, I've been duped, and so I'm out. I don't care what Theo Vaughn has to say. I don't care what Joe Rogan has to say. I don't care what Bert Kreischer has to say or Tom Segura. I don't care about any of them. I want them all away. I want them all away. It's almost like they paid off the algorithm to get, if you're a 50-year-old white man, that is your algorithm. No more. I've got Segura and Kreischer off of it. And I don't get any Joe Rogan clips. It's just people screaming and yelling about Joe Rogan.
But that is the problem. And congratulations for getting those things out of your algorithm, because if you hate watch anything, or you engage in my other one of my favorite practices, which is informed viciousness. Like, if you're really going to hate something, I want to learn everything I can about it. More so than the things that I love. I want to learn about the things that I hate. You keep getting fed that stuff, and it just makes for a miserable experience.
And you can't say don't. And to my knowledge, you can't say, like, I don't want to see this anymore. So I've never, I don't know if in 10 years I've watched a Joe Rogan video of Joe Rogan talking to someone. But I have taken clickbait to see him flipping out or something. And I don't even dislike Theo Vaughn. I just don't like that he exists on my computer screen for no reason. Like, I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't track anything except for my age and gender. And the thing that annoys me about that is, and it really has nothing to do with Theo Vaughn, it's just that, like, you didn't earn that. Like, you didn't earn me seeing these videos. It's not like I heard about you, bought a ticket to your show because, like, my friends talked about it or I read about it. It's not like I, sat down in front of the television and sought you out, or, you know, you were going to be on an old school, like 9 o'clock on a NBC on a Wednesday night, and I sought it out. This is just like, I'm taking a nap. I put on my my iPad, and for whatever reason, you are what YouTube is offering up, and then that equates to success. And I don't think that's. I don't like the way that method is done, because it's almost like I didn't ask for it. Like, even when there were 4 channels, Happy Days wasn't on every time you turned on TV.
That's true.
I mean, it wasn't like every time you turned on TV, it was just Happy Days was on and you had to turn it off.
Yeah.
I mean, would Happy Days count as the #1 show in the world if when everyone in the world turned on their TV, it was on? Wouldn't that just be by circumstance? Because it's on TV? It's like state television at that point. It's like North Korea. I'm being dead serious. Like, if it goes, you're a 50-year-old white guy with money, here we go, this is who you like, then that's not even an influencer to me. That's not anything anyone found out about or, like, said that's great. It's just every idiot like me. It's if it's one of 20 things on the screen, you have 1 in 20 chance of seeing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that to me isn't right. If it was a true democracy on the internet and it was everyone was on an even playing field, then I would appreciate the people that rose to the top more. But if it's just some dumb algorithm, then I don't have a lot of respect for the people that do well.
How long does I've always wondered this, how long does the algorithm last? Like, if you watch one video once and then you are, an avalanche of same videos all of a sudden in your algorithm, how long does it take before the algorithm
changes every time you scroll, really, John? Like,
really?
Yeah, every
I
piece
don't know.
every piece of content that
but not
linger on.
But not necessarily the creators do change. Kreishner and Segura took probably about a year.
Yeah.
Like a year of ignoring it.
That's what I was talking about. It takes a long time to clear.
Right,
I don't think it's every time.
If you click on like a Theo Vaughn thing or like whatever else in the Rogan, and I know Theo Vaughn's not really the Rogan verse, but whatever, anything like even side to that can force its way back into your algorithm.
Yeah.
Like, right.
God forbid you go anywhere in the same universe, you're still the same crap comes right back
because
at you.
Because Tom Segura's got 45,000 podcasts, and so like to like anything remotely like Joey Diaz, like all of that crap, like all exists in its own orbit, which is why they're all afraid to say anything about each other, because one of those dominoes falls, then who knows who's next.
Yeah, it's a house of cards. It's like if you decide you don't like one of these guys or think one of these guys isn't funny, then you're going to end up disliking all of them and thinking none of them are funny.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. There's the internet for you. It's been explained. No one can do it better than what we just did. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happens, so change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. Hardy, what's going on?
Red Sox going at it again last night and beating up on some weaklings.
Swinging a high fly ball. That's deep. That's back toward the wall. And that is way out of here. Carlos Narvaez, number 8. He got it all, too. Red Sox on top 1-0.
So that made it 1-0 there in the second inning, and they weren't by any means anywhere near finished.
Swinging a drive. That one's socked deep. Right field. Back. And it is gone. Abreu with a shot. A 2-run homer. Number 18 for Willier. Red Sox with his second blast tonight.
Okay, so, by the time you get to the 8th and it's 7-2, you think maybe, like enough already. These Rockies, I know they've got uniforms, and I know they're getting paid and everything, but it's not a real baseball team. Why don't you take it easy on them?
There's a drive, sock to right. This one's way back.
What?
That
What?
one's way back. That's gone.
Where? Who took it? I thought you said there was a sock.
There's a drive, sock to right. This one's
Where?
way back. That's gone. 3-run homer for Jaron Duran.
Did Bill take it and put it down his pants?
No.
In consecutive games, and it's another runaway for the Red Sox.
Oh.
They would go
You
on.
took a sock from a runaway?
Ooh, I bet they haven't showered in weeks.
I mean, a hobo? A real train slob?
A real tramp? Is he a leather tramp? Or a rubber tramp?
What? He's a steampunk.
Sox are going to win 10-2. Sweep the Rockies out of Fenway Park. That was it, right? That's no more?
No more.
Okay,
We're all
good.
done beating up on the Sisters of the Poor.
All done.
It's funny. I was listening to Felger and Maz, and they were talking about, they played a clip of Sean McAdam. And he was saying how, look, if it doesn't happen this season, the Red Sox are going to have to trade Duran. There's a glut of outfielders. And their point was, well, what's wrong with having a fourth outfielder? Well, the point of that is it's an unnecessary luxury in that if you can get way more for Duran at the deadline while still adding, one of the four outfielders isn't going to play much in the postseason. So if you can flip Duran for stuff and pick up people that will play in the postseason or pitch in the postseason, that makes sense. I don't understand why if you have something extra and you can improve in an area where you don't have enough, wouldn't you use that extra piece to improve in an area you don't have enough?
It's just good business when it gets right down to it. If you really want to improve the ball club, that's an easy way to do it. It's staring you right in the face. This is not a big mystery. It's the thing you do. If you have a surplus of something and you need something else, you trade from your surplus.
And you trade from a position of strength, which is where it would be right now with Duran. He would be according to most, the most sought-after trade deadline target in Major League Baseball. That's not like Paul Skeens or something ridiculous.
Capitalize on this while you can. He's red hot at the plate. I mean, he's really hitting well over the last couple of weeks after he struggled for large portions of the first half. Take advantage of this while you can. I don't see a mystery about this at all.
Now,
if the Red Sox really want to win, if they really want to go for it, whatever it is, then you trade this guy and get pitching.
I agree, but on the other side, I don't think in any circumstance you can trade Bregman, and I don't think Bregman will sign obviously before the trade deadline. So,
well, that's the thing. The everything I've read over the last 48 hours said A, he wants to stay. We knew that, but B, the Sox aren't trading him.
No,
the Sox are not going to trade him. They're going to try and re-sign him.
No, you can't. You can't sign him this offseason and then trade him at the deadline while you're in the playoffs right now. I mean, right now you're technically in the playoffs.
Hard decisions for Sam Kennedy.
I will say we have a lot of difficult roster decisions. That's why Prez and AC make the big bucks. I mean, there's a lot of difficult baseball decisions, conversations that have to happen over the next couple weeks, unrelated to the trading deadline, because we have a lot of good players and a lot of great depth on this team, which is...
Oof, he's talking like a jackass.
All right. He's right up until then.
A lot of great depth. He's feeling these Rockies wins.
Right up until then, I was like, wow, no double talk, no BS. He's speaking the truth. He's not going outside, veering outside of his lane.
I got a camera on me right now. I want to look right into it. I'm going to tell you what I think.
Then the last
because
two
we have a lot of
sentences.
good players and a lot of great depth on this
Jesus
team, which is
Christ.
a great problem to have. And we should be celebrating that. But
You're 4 games over 500.
Yeah, and you
Jesus.
just got done with the Nationals and the
Rockies.
So congratulations.
2 of the 4 worst teams. 2 of the 4 teams. that are at
You're
the
better
bottom of
because
the
you got
league.
rid of Devers. That's true.
Congratulations.
He wouldn't work out with Will Clark.
Oh.
You got rid of a huge problem. We'll see. We'll see. Now look, you don't. Now selling Duran's not selling you because you're looking to add. So you added the deadline. Now, are you going to be able to realistically compete with teams that are like all in this year? And should you? I don't think so.
No.
But you should certainly not sell. And if you get rid of someone like Duran, you should get major league talent in return, like a piece at least that will help you this year in return. But you don't trade Bregman and you don't trade Chapman. You don't do any of that. You just don't. But I mean, listen, the idea that you're better without Devers is nonsense. You've hit a nice 6-game win streak.
Against bad teams.
Horrible teams.
Things change rapidly soon. So we'll see. Tampa is a nice little test for these last 4 games. And then we'll see what happens after the All-Star break. The All-Star break, things change a little bit schedule-wise. So I'm hoping, as a Red Sox fan, it would be nice if they went on a nice run. But
last time they went on a nice run, they traded Devers and then fell into a hole.
That's true. They swept the Yankees, and that was it.
Yeah, which is about the biggest thing you can do. That you could do here. They had swept the Yankees at home. They had gotten themselves back into everything. Now, look, they're not winning this division, but they've gotten themselves back into everything.
Yeah.
And then they turned around and traded Devers and went into a hole.
All right, right after the All-Star break, Chicago, the Phillies, and the Dodgers, back to back to back. All right, let's see where we are after those 9 games.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah. Let's start today if they play. Tampa Bay and then through the All-Star game.
Tampa's a playoff team, sure.
Oh yeah, Tampa's a good team. They beat the Tigers yesterday. Here we go. You win those series, then you win. Say you win 3 of those 4 series.
Yep.
God bless you. Then that's hot stuff. Go into the trade deadline winning those 3, all those series, 3 of those 4 series. Why not?
Yeah,
We'll
and
see,
by the
though.
way, those 3 series coming out of the All-Star break basically take you right to the trade deadline.
Yes.
So you get a very good idea. You're a few days short of the trade deadline after those 3 series.
Right.
So you get a real good idea where you are.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to be going to the ballpark this weekend, Jonathan?
I am not going to the ballpark this weekend. I am not. Why? Are you?
No.
It sounded to me like you were about to brag that you have dugout seats.
Yeah, as is my way, but no, I am not. I don't think I could if I wanted to. I think that I will be at Northeastern. You hear that, Adam? I think I would be at Northeastern.
Go
weekend.
Huskies.
Yep, there you go. Yeah,
Parsons
Northeastern.
Field, baby. Scenic Brookline, Mass.
Yeah, this weekend, starting tomorrow, I will be at Northeastern. So there you go. Enjoy that. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
What was it, last year around this time, maybe a little earlier, we took a little show trip down to Gillette Stadium to watch Lionel Messi take on, and Inter Miami, of course, take on the New England Revolution, and we were treated to a 2-goal night from Lionel Messi. Last night, a bunch of people go to Gillette Stadium for the exact same thing. You know what they got? The exact same thing.
Federico Redondo goes long. Allende sees a play back off the head. Mistake by the Revolution. And they pay for it well. Messi Messi and Miami take the 1-0 lead.
That was in the first half, and then with a few minutes to go in the first half.
Messi with the only goal of the match in this first half. Busquets plays ahead. Messi on the run. Lionel Messi make it 2.
And that makes Lionel Messi the first MLS player to score multiple goals in 4 consecutive league matches.
Go figure. Best soccer player on the planet
goes
from a great league to a somewhat inferior league and keeps scoring goals.
Why can't you celebrate the record?
He's 38 and making everyone look like they're his little brother.
Well, it's only because there was a mistake made on that first goal in the 27th minute. I don't know that he would have
described the mistake. Oh, no, neither did I. Just said there was a mistake.
There was a mistake.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it was because he didn't say.
Well, that's for the color analyst to come in afterward and kind of describe it. In the moment, you just let that call breathe a little bit.
No, was that on the radio, that call?
I think that was the Miami call that we were listening to, wasn't it?
Apple TV, says Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah. All I know is you
TV.
couldn't watch the game if you wanted to. You could listen to it here.
No, you can watch it on Apple TV with the MLS package.
Yeah, oh, no, I went to the movies. They had it on closed circuit.
Yeah, all you had to
It was only $55.
Like a Hearns-Hagler fight.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I went to the movies. They had a closed circuit television. So, watch Messi stand there.
Yeah.
He's right there to your right of the goal. Goal side left. Stage left, your right.
Just hang on.
Carlos Heel would score in the 80th minute to avoid the shutout for the Revs, but they still fall 2-1.
Yeah, too bad he's still a heel. Yep. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox swept Colorado 10-2 at Fenway Park last night. They're 4 games over 500. That's a season high. They've won 6 straight. They play Tampa Bay at Fenway Park tonight. Alex Bregman will not be activated tonight, but is expected to play this weekend. The NBA yesterday announced its 6 groups of 5 for the Emirates Cup. And this year, the Celtics are in Group B with Detroit, Orlando, Brooklyn, and Philadelphia. Some Bruins news from yesterday. The team has hired Ryan Bourque, the son of team legend Ray Bourque, as an assistant coach in Providence. And as we were just talking about, the New England Revolution lost to Lionel Messi in Inter Miami CF 2-1 at Gillette Stadium. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off a drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
They'll get bored.
I was with a guy yesterday. He was on the phone with his daughter at one point. He said, "You're what? What?" He said, who's Taylor the Originator? He looks at me. And this guy was younger than I am.
His name was Eddie Trunk.
I said, "Tyler the Creator." Well, who is she? I said, "No, it's a guy. He's a musical. It's fine." Because he was asking where she was last night or the night before.
Yeah, he was concerned. He wanted to make sure that was some PG stuff, that his daughter wasn't walking on the wild side there.
Some news from the NBA. Explain this one to me.
It reinforces everything that Devin Booker has said about his commitment to the Phoenix Suns organization, and it reinforces everything that Matt Ishbia has said about the Suns' commitment to him. Why don't the Suns just trade Devin Booker and start over? And why doesn't Devin Booker just want to get out of there and go to a team that has a more realistic shot of winning a championship? For those on the inside, I mean, I don't think there was ever much doubt about this relationship continuing.
$145 million max contract extension with the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker will be there for 2 more years. The highest annual extension in NBA history for now, for the moment.
Yeah, that could very well change.
Yes.
Booker's staying there because they're paying him $70 million a year.
But he cares nothing about actually having a chance at winning?
Apparently not. Money tends to smooth things over, but now it's his team. Now it's his deal. They're going to buy out Bradley Beal. They already traded Kevin Durant. Booker didn't see a lot of the basketball with those two guys out there.
Just, I guess, explain to me on the math, if you're the Phoenix Suns, how it is worth $72.5 million a year to give to one player. Because even after a while, and I don't know what the fan base is like in Phoenix. I don't know how they do at their games. If people are going to show up just to see Devin Booker, but that's all you're going to show up to see is Devin Booker. That's it. There's nothing else to see there.
Yeah.
So will they show up and will they support that team just for that?
I have no idea what the Phoenix Suns fan base is like, but just thinking about it now, the reason, A, Booker is there is that if you're going to come to games, you have someone to watch, and B, maybe you attract some free agents. It was like, oh, okay, I didn't want to play with Durant and Beal because I'd never see the basketball, but with Devin Booker, who is more of a facilitator and a scorer, maybe I'll have a chance to play. I don't know. I'm guessing here.
People in Boston some people have been complaining about the Celtics trying to get under the second apron. Have you heard Stan Kroenke, who has $21 billion in sports franchises, his talk with the Nuggets about if they don't get under the first apron, they might have to trade Jokic. He's saying that publicly. Like that, this $21 billion in sports franchises, Avalanche, Nuggets, Rams, Arsenal. I mean, these are fairly large teams. He did that Rams situation worked out perfectly for him. He really did what was in the best interest of the league and everyone else. He's a real piece of garbage. And now your owner's saying, if we don't get under this first apron, I'm going to trade the best player in basketball, even though I have 20. Well, how about get rid of a team? How about sell the Nuggets? Why do you want the Nuggets? If you sell the Nuggets, you then buy something else. Why do you have to own something that's in the public trust that's just going to make people hate you?
Ask John Henry.
I know why John Henry bought the Red Sox, and I think I know why he bought other franchises.
Well, the Red Sox were first.
Yes,
that's not the case for Kroenke.
Well, you're the one who put them together. I'm not. You said, ask John Henry. And I said, I know why John Henry bought the Red Sox. He bought the Red Sox so people would like him. And when that didn't work, he said, screw it. I'm just going to become cutthroat sports business guy. But I don't know why Kroenke wants to be involved in professional sports. No one likes him. It's just so odd to me.
It's true.
Like, he could make more money doing other things. I don't understand. If it's all about money, why you wouldn't just want to do it somewhere where you're not just actively being a dick and so publicly being a dick. You could be in like defense. You could be building like literal nuclear bombs and be less people than saying you're going to trade the best player in basketball.
It was described to me a long time ago. I forget who said this to me, that the reason owners want these things is because they have a toy that a limited amount of people have.
Yeah, but it's not. But that's an old school way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's not that way anymore. Having 4 teams and being hated, they're no longer toys. They're responsibilities and ways to get people not to like you.
And especially, I think there's still an element to that, John, but there's less of an element to it when it's an ownership group. It's not really your toy anymore. I mean, how much fun is it to have this one toy that no one else can have when you have to share it with an investment group and 6 other people who have a near to equal stake in it that you do?
And the whole toy thing was 25 years ago when, it was conceivable that just a rich guy could buy a team.
The other part of it is all of these franchises are becoming so expensive. Everything, all the valuation of these franchises going so far up. And Bert Breer was talking about this with us when the two of you guys were out a couple of weeks ago. It's getting to the point where there are only a limited amount of people that can buy these franchises, especially in the NFL. There are what, 10 people in the world that can afford a $7 billion franchise, which is basically what an NFL team is going for these days?
It's like what it's become is there was a documentary. It's something along the lines of Business of Art, and it was about how this group of about 50 billionaires basically decides what's high valued art, or what's considered high valued art, because if it's just what they bid on, unless it's classic stuff, like in terms of newly created art, it's this very small group of very rich people that decide how much it's worth. Now this is way different because it's if it doesn't mean anything to anyone, then these have TV rights and everything like that. But to what you're getting at, John, is if these football teams are getting valued in such a way that it only becomes an investment, then that means that there's a market cap for it, because every company has one. And once you hit that and you're in the value, you're not going to make the same amount of profit as the person before you. Mm-hmm. Then that's the cap. And then they start going down in value, because then they're purely investment. Because the argument would be made is I might pay a little bit more for this because it's my dream to have this. Well, if it's just, and I know 2 guys that work in funds that buy into professional sports franchises, and you and I mean, they're, with real houses and stuff. These aren't, the guy's not doing it in his basement, but there will be a brokerage firm that has a fund where you buy into different professional sports franchises. That's to make money. That's not to have a piece of paper. That's an actual investment that has nothing to do with the sport.
And it's interesting as far as it being expensive. There's a story this morning about Eli Manning was given the opportunity to buy into the New York Giants. They offered him up to 10% of the New York Giants, and Eli looked at him and said, "Are you guys nuts? I can't afford that." 1% of the New York Giants is $73 million at this point.
Yeah.
He's like, that's way too much money for me. I can't afford that.
Yeah, and there's going to be a point where it's just too much money. And now, and it's not whatever, mechanisms, and it has to go into, whatever that high finance, it's well above my head, but there's going to be a point where it's not worth it anymore. Yeah. And that's going to be kind of scary for the NFL, because they'll have sold out by so much by that point. 10 years from now, they'll do anything. They'll do anything. They'll have a team in Saudi Arabia. I'm not kidding. They'll have the NFL streaming channel, that the only way to get NFL games is through their streaming channel, and it's $5,000 a year to get it. They'll try anything to tread water. So we'll see. If it's in our children's lifetimes, the NFL will not be the most famous, the most popular sport. That will happen. In our children's lifetimes, maybe not ours.
Now,
certainly not yours.
Really bring it home. What will be?
UFC.
Ultimate.
Randy Couture, by the way, involved in a very serious auto accident.
That's too bad.
No, he had to be some kind of a stock car racing thing that he was into, and he had to get airlifted, first and second degree burns and all kinds of stuff. He was a nice man when I met him.
Oh, you know what? I take it back. Stock car racing will be the number one sport.
There it is.
All right, we'll be right back.
More
touch.
plus the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox are now a season-high 4 games over 500 and are tied for the final playoff spot in the American League.
Swinging a high fly through the rain, back toward the ball, and gone! He waited until the last moment to extend that hitting streak, but the Red Sox continue to just crush the baseball.
That's Dave O'Brien on Nesson. The Sox swept Colorado last night at Fenway Park 10-2. Sox scored 5 in the bottom of the 8th inning to break open a close game. They have had at least 10 hits in each of their last 7 games. They've won 6 straight. They closed down the pre-All-Star break portion of their schedule with a 4-game series with Tampa Bay. Walker Buehler faces the Rays tonight. Alex Cora said after last night's game, Alex Bregman won't be activated off the injured list today, but he is expected to return this weekend. Masataka Yoshida had 3 hits in his first game back last night. In basketball news, the NBA yesterday announced its 6 groups of 5 for the Emirates Cup, its in-season tournament. This year, the Celtics will be in Group B with Detroit, Orlando, Brooklyn, and Philadelphia. Some Bruins news from yesterday. The team has hired Ryan Bork, the son of Raymond Bork, as an assistant coach in Providence. And Lionel Messi scored a pair of goals in the first half last night to lead Inter Miami CF to a 2-1 win over the New England Revolution in Foxborough. Revs are winless in their last 5 matches. They visit Austin FC on Saturday evening. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Super Service today. Massachusetts' #1 provider for residential and commercial plumbing, heating, cooling, and drain cleaning, day or night, and always done right. Visit superservicetoday.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here, 98.5, The Sports Hub. Why do people listen to Toucher?
Because it's a thing.
All right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
No idea what you're talking about.
Here's more of The Thing on the Sports Hub.
All right. We are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Go to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. All right. Jim Norton does the show when he's in town. When he was on Opie and Anthony and such, he was basically a part of the show when we were both on WBCN. They were good to us. We were good to them. He was on the same page as Hardy. He thought it was ludicrous that I wore flip-flops into the station. He would make fun of that on Opie and Anthony. That even on a show with Anthony Cumio, we were known as drunks. So that was something else, too. So Adam, someone on the show, Adam or Ryan or someone, has found this clip of Jim Norton. Is this him doing stand-up?
Yes, it's a short stand-up clip.
Okay.
And the point that he makes, I thought, would be an interesting one for the three of you to discuss.
There's no bingo.
Okay. You're still down on that bingo bit, huh?
No, I hadn't thought about it until just now. Okay. And then I realized we were going into something I didn't know.
Yeah.
And the last time that happened was bingo.
Well, to be fair, you would have known more. The timing of that was bad yesterday because you were distracted with all the stuff that was going on.
Oh, geez, Adam. Yes, it was my fault.
I'm not saying it was your fault. I'm saying that when I came into the studio to break down what was happening with the bingo game, you were like embroiled in the thing with Milo yesterday.
Next level gaslighting right there.
Wow.
You weren't 100% on board.
You were angry at dealing with the situation with your son.
Yes.
So you got angry at Adam 12 for this.
I didn't get angry at Adam 12 at all.
Angry at me? No, not at all, John. I'm saying that when I was walking you guys through how the bit was going to go, Fred was distracted with something else. Had he not been, he would have been able to say, yeah, maybe we go in this direction, maybe we go in that direction. It would have played out a little bit better.
Oh, you're saying we wouldn't have done it. I understand. All right, so here we go. Here is Jim Norton, a friend. I haven't talked to him in quite some time, but here he is doing stand-up.
I don't even watch team sports anymore. Like, I watched the Yankees this year, and I was a fan again because they were in the World Series. But then they humiliated all of us, and they lost. So I won't watch them again until maybe next year if they're in the playoffs. And I say that, and guys are like, you're a bandwagon fan. Yes. Shouldn't you be a bandwagon fan? How has professional sports convinced people that you are somehow a deeper and more meaningful person if you tolerate a bad product? I watch them when they win, and you tell guys that, and they're like, yeah, I was watching the Yankees when they were in last place. All right, well, you're a f***ing idiot. What do you want me to tell you? You're a stupid ass. And you're one of the reasons they were in last place, dummy. Because if no one showed up, they would have gotten better. But people like you would sit there like an idiot, and they're like, we don't have to do anything. They're still coming. I did something. I helped the team. I took my baseball dollars, and I gave them to escorts. That's what I did.
Yeah, I will tell you this, is that the only sport... Now, listen, going to games is... I wouldn't go to... I mean, I would not go to see a team play that was absolutely terrible. The only... I just don't think you can switch your favorite team. Like, stopping caring about about the team that you root for is fine. And especially in football. I just think that the way... At least the way that it is to me, because I've tried, is that it's like the same way with music. It's like when you're a kid... For whatever reason, you grew up in the city. For whatever reason it was, you loved Roger Staubach. For whatever reason, whatever that reason was, is how illegitimate it may seem to other people. You like that team as a kid, and you invest time into that team. That's going to be the team that you like for the rest of your life,
and should be. And if you somehow switch over and pretend to have that same childlike fascination with a new team, that rings hollow.
Right. But like, for instance, if you're a Los Angeles Chargers fan and they're not in the playoffs for 10 years.
Well, who isn't?
There's only one team I can think of who hasn't been in the playoffs for 10 years in football, and I happen to be a fan of theirs. But if they're not in the playoffs for 10 years and you kind of like, and you never go to a Charger game, you live in Boston, you never go to a Charger game, and then they make the AFC Championship game and you go to the AFC Championship game, well, yes. I get why that is, because they're good and this has rekindled your love of the team. Mm-hmm. But if you are flipping around, I do think there is a lesson to be learned that if you are dealt a bad hand with the team that you inherit or choose to like as a youngster, it is a sign of a quality person to stick with that team throughout your life. Because I've tried not to be a Jet fan. I've actively tried not to like the team. And there is something, and this is why I do believe there's something to this, is because there's the uniform. It's just the uniform. I can't root against the uniform. Terrible season. Last game of the year. They lose. They get Trevor Lawrence. Now, looking back, I understand maybe that wasn't the worst thing in the world not to have happened. But at the time, it was like, there's just generational quarterback prospect. That team, again, because I watch every Jet game because I'm an idiot. Like, I don't know why. Even when they suck, I go, I'm not going to watch it. But even my son will be like, I want to watch. Like, so last year, I saw every single play from every single Jets game. Anyway, last game of the season, Jets are down. They lose this game. Trevor Lawrence, first pick in the draft. I don't know if it was a fumble recovery or interception or something. They end up scoring with like no time left to win the game. And I find myself getting excited. Like rationality completely left me. That I was literally at a base level just rooting for that uniform. Seeing that uniform do something quote unquote good, release something in my brain that I couldn't fight. It was like instinctual. It is. It's an instinctual thing.
Yeah.
Now, look, if the Cardinals are terrible, I'm a Cardinal fan. I have been my whole life. If the Cardinals are terrible, am I watching their game? I'm not watching their games. Am I checking the standings? Like this year, like whatever, they're hanging around. So like I watched a little bit of last night's game. But if they, which they probably will, get like 6-7 games back in the wild card, I'm not going to watch the Cardinals anymore.
See, and this is where I think it differs from sport to sport. So Norton's example is the Yankees. And you just said the same thing about the Cardinals, Fred. It's 162 games a year. And if you're going to be some like lunatic fan that's going to tune in no matter what, that's just like days of your life, weeks. It adds up to months and years of your life that you could argue are wasted watching a bad product. So that doesn't necessarily make any sense. For football, though, if you're going to be watching football anyway on Sunday and you're not going to watch your team, regardless if they're good or bad, this is what you end up missing out on. When hopefully they do at some point get good, the joy that you're going to experience is going to be lessened by the fact that you weren't there for the bad years.
I will tell you this, is that you would consider Boston to be one of the great North American hockey towns, not just United States, but North American hockey towns.
Correct.
Okay. Original 6 franchise, all these things. When I moved here, the story's old. I got half-season tickets to the Bruins. There wasn't one of you there. Those games, I couldn't give away the tickets. Give them away. It's not a turn of phrase. I could not give them away. At WBCN, I had a thing. Tried to sell them. Couldn't sell them.
I bought a
tried to sell them. Tried to sell them for face value. Couldn't sell them. And then I was just like, do you want them? I can't go to the game. And people literally wouldn't take them. You fast forward 4 years later, you can't buy a ticket to those games. Does that mean that that's a bandwagon crowd? No. But when Dave Lewis is your coach and everyone sucks, why the hell are you going to spend money and you spend your evening going to a dumb Bruins game?
It's the same thing. Boston's considered a very good sports town, and all of the 4 franchises have gone through this. The Celtics in the mid-'90s, there was one year where they won, I think, 15 games. ML Carr was the head coach. No one was going to those games. And the year before the Big 3 came in and they won a championship, they lost 18 straight games.
Oh, I got courtside seats to a game that year.
I was going to those games, working those games. There was nobody there.
Yeah.
And, the Red Sox had gone through down years, many down years, and no one was going to the ballpark. The Patriots, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, were not a good franchise at one point before the whole Brady thing. I mean, they won during the Zolak years. They won 2-14. They were 1-15 under Rod Rust in the early 90s.
But
no one was going, but people came
Here's
back.
the thing about the Patriots, though, is if this generation of Patriots fans, and the 3 of us have passed this era of our lives, but the people that were in their teens and 20s during that whole, or even kids, anyone that wasn't around pre-Brady, that grew up with the Patriots, if you at any point, switch your allegiance to another team, because the Patriots inevitably are just going to, it could be 30 years until they win a Super Bowl again. It's probably going to be at least 15. It's hard to win a Super Bowl. If you at any point switch that allegiance, then that is a terrible character defect. You're not allowed to do that. Now, if you're from another area, if you moved here from somewhere else, and the team is in another conference, you may adopt that team on a game by game basis. But you cannot switch your allegiance from the Patriots at any point in your lifetime now, especially if you were on Twitter with Belichick. At any point you liked or used Belichick drinking out of an orange juice glass.
If you ever said the words out loud or typed "In Bill We Trust,"
right, you're not allowed to leave.
You cannot leave. You got to stick with them.
There is something about Boston that's a little bit different. Like Bostonians that are transplanted and go other places. I think Conan O'Brien did a bit on this. It's imprinted on your brain. Doesn't matter if you move to L.A. or Seattle or Dallas. You're Red Sox, Patriots, Bruins, Celtics. You don't adopt other teams of the town that you move into. I've seen people who move here from other places that adopt the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Patriots, and the Celtics and give up their old teams. Like a buddy of mine moved here from Minneapolis, got rid of his Twins allegiance, and now roots for the Red Sox.
I don't understand how you do that. How old was he when he moved here?
20.
Oh, see, I don't. How the hell do you do that? Then he never liked the Twins. It's impossible to do. That's like psychologically impossible to do. Now, how did I end up liking the Bruins? Because I never cared about the Red Wings. I didn't care about hockey.
See,
my dad never took me to hockey games.
It's strange coming from where you came from, and they were really, they were winning Stanley Cups.
Not when
right?
No. They were okay. They weren't as good as the Bruins when I lived there.
So they got on that run after you left.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was what year did they win that first cup?
97.
Yeah, I was a senior in college in 97. Okay. Yeah, I was gone. I didn't live in Detroit back then. Now I would come back for the summers while all that was going on. So I saw the celebrations, and I saw Draper and McCarty have sex with everything.
Right.
The fat ones, everything. A big fat lady was cutting my hair, and she was talking to her friend about how her friend just banged Draper and McCarty a couple nights before. And I'm like,
even if
"Gee."
they're fat.
And I'm like, dear Lord. I'm like, they're really running through this town. It got to the point where people were sick of seeing them out. Just particularly Draper and McCarty, those two. You know, it's not like Iserman was out every night or, you know, and Fedorov was too busy with his teen bride. But, no, I wasn't a Red Wing fan. Like, I could never adopt. And so the Bruins and, you know, I got the season tickets because I would have never gotten season tickets if I was a fan of another team. I never would have done it. I wouldn't have wasted the money on it. So I was prepared to become a Bruins fan, and then the organization was so over the moon that someone was talking about them on the radio that they ended up being nice to me. And then until they got good, they were very nice to me, and then they forgot about me once they got good. Just like if you know a girl and like she gets in a car accident and all of a sudden she's like got a limp and then she likes you and then that limp goes away and then they leave you again. That's kind of the thing. I wonder if the Bruins will come back now that they suck. I'm wondering if they're willing to come back. We'll see. But I do believe there is a psychological deficiency in you if you can grow up like your friend. That if he really did grow up a Twins fan, like caring about them, and if was in his 20s, that means, and he's your age or even around your age, that means they were really good when he was a kid too.
Puckett and all them, yeah.
And it doesn't even matter because the Jets blew when I was a kid. My cousins liked them, and there was a decision at one point to like them, and now I can't get off of it. I've tried. How many times have I told you I've tried? I've legitimately tried.
I know.
And Milo's the same way. Who knows why he likes that?
Look,
I would go, I'm not watching the game. He go, what do you mean you're not watching the game? He's the reason I saw every play because he's like, I'm watching it, and then I'm not going to tell him I'm not going to watch the game with him. So he has now developed that in his brain. I guarantee you, if Milo goes off and lives, it doesn't matter. He doesn't live in New York now. Wherever Milo lives, he'll be a Jet fan. I can guarantee you he will be.
No, the whole thing of it being imprinted on you as a kid. I mean, there were a lot of times when I was a kid, I didn't want to root for the Red Sox anymore. I mean, when they'd get slapped down by the Yankees, but you can't leave the team. You can't. When the teams you root for, if you are a fan of the sport growing up, are the teams you should stick with.
I just don't think it's a decision. It's not even. It's not a moral thing. It's just. It doesn't seem like it's even a decision. Shane, go ahead.
Wallach is right. I agree with you. I'm a Boston sports fan. I grew up in Rhode Island, but I like the Detroit Lions, because Barry Sanders was on Thanksgiving every year when we had like less channels. And then I like the Padres because my dad would always buy me Padres stuff because we have the same initials. I'm SD too. So I think that's fair. And I was always like, as long as I have one in this league and one in that league.
It doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter why you're the fan. It's that you've been a fan of that team. It doesn't matter what the reason is. I mean, if it's because of your initials, who cares? If you're a kid, kids are stupid.
I like the initials thing.
Yeah, whatever. Listen, it's why gangs do it. So listen, I mean, there's.
I'm in a gang.
Yeah, there's many gangs that go by the thing. Look, it doesn't matter. Well, listen, that's you. Email Hardy; he'll get in with every. If you want to beat someone in, it's Hardy. Look. All right, Adam wants to break and take one calls. I don't disagree. We can take your calls, but this is hard hitting stuff. We're jumping off a Jim Norton segment.
Summer book, baby.
Listen, I'm not making fun of you for this. Even though you gaslit me at the beginning of this break, and you absolutely did. If you weren't distracted, that would have been a good bit. No, it wouldn't.
That's not what I was saying.
I'm distracted all the time.
That's fair.
I mean, believe me, that wasn't why that. No, there was a point where I was like, it's not worth saving. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Big explosion.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
Norton, our friend of the show, I don't talk to him so much anymore. He's off doing his own thing. But here is the very funny Jim Norton.
I don't even watch team sports anymore. Like, I watched the Yankees this year, and I was a fan again because they were in the World Series. But then they humiliated all of us, and they lost. So I won't watch them again until maybe next year if they're in the playoffs. And I say that, and guys are like, you're a bandwagon fan. Yes. Shouldn't you be a bandwagon fan? How has professional sports convinced people that you are somehow a deeper and more meaningful person if you tolerate a bad product? I watch them when they win, and you tell guys that, and they're like, yeah, I was watching the Yankees when they were in last place. All right, well, you're a f***ing idiot. What do you want me to tell you? You're a stupid ass. And you're one of the reasons they were in last place, dummy. Because if no one showed up, they would have gotten better. But people like you would sit there like an idiot, and they're like, we don't have to do anything. They're still coming. I did something. I helped the team. I took my baseball dollars, and I gave them to escorts. That's what I did.
So, again, especially in baseball, if you're a fan of a baseball team and they're playing like crap, I don't know why you'd watch them. You're under no obligation to watch anything. It's just switching allegiances as you age. It's like music. It's like anything else. It's what you like as a child is generally what you're going to be the most emotionally invested in. In something as childish as sports, it seems like that kind of relationship would be forged pretty early in your life. Now, if you chose in that given sport and didn't grow up liking sports, I mean, it's up to you. But I find it very difficult to believe that if you were a big fan of a team or a fan of a team growing up, that you can easily just switch allegiances. John, go ahead.
Hey, so I'm one of your older listeners, and when my dad and I were watching the 1960 Olympics,
oh,
Bob Hayes
Jesus
was
Christ!
the
Congratulations on
Listen
still
to me.
being alive, you old prick. No, I'm just kidding. Go
I'm
ahead.
a member of a gang, the Over the Hill gang.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right. So Bob Hayes was the fastest man in the world in the 1960 Olympics, and that amazed me as a little boy. So I was a Dallas Cowboy fan. And then we as I grew up right outside from Framingham, actually. I grew up outside of in Framingham. Everybody rooted for the Patriots, the Celtics, the Bruins, and the Red Sox. So that's what my allegiance to this day. Living in Fort Myers, Florida, the winter home of the Boston Red Sox, I am still consider myself a Bostonian, even though I've lived here since 1991. I go back once a year just to reassure myself why I live here, though. So,
wait, so how long were you a Cowboys fan?
Oh, just for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
But that was an amazing thing to me when Bob Hayes won that thing, and it's something I shared with my dad. And then I ruined my life because I spent my money on hookers and crack. So
listen, you're still living and you're still giving those hookers money, so that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
I don't really understand. It
That was
sound
very
like he was
convoluted, that whole thing.
He was that
There's
big,
a lot going on there.
Yeah. Bullet Bob Hayes. I know that was a
okay.
part of the story. But there you go. Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Freddie T, big fan. So my father decided to abandon the family in the mid-'90s and move to Seattle. I would go out there in the summers to visit him in my younger years. So I became a Mariners fan, and now I can't help but root for them and the Red Sox. Am I allowed to do that, or does that make me a bandwagon
No,
fan?
you are absolutely allowed to do that, but there has to be a decision made. If they were to meet in the playoffs, who would you root for?
The Mariners, because I can't stand the Red Sox anymore.
All right, well, there you go. So you're a Mariners fan.
Your dad left the family and moved as far away as he could and still remain in the continental United States.
My brother did the same thing.
And what? Your mom did the same
Yeah.
thing?
He moved to Seattle when I was a kid.
That's why he's always crying out for attention with that Seattle crap on.
Wow. And did you go out to visit your mom, John?
Oh, yeah.
And just like this guy went out to visit his dad?
My mother moved away when I was in my late teens, though, so it's a little different.
Okay. How old were you when your dad
Yeah, mine was early teens.
Oof. Yeah. How'd they?
I got to see Griffey and A-Rod play, so
well, listen.
it was a bonus, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the cat's in the cradle, at least you can have Ken Griffey there as well, I'll tell you. I didn't know you were that young when your mom moved out to Seattle.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was 21. I apologize. Right after I got out of college.
Wow.
Yep.
Did she wait until you got out of college to move?
Yes.
Was it like the day you got out of? That was like my ex-wife's parents got.
That's about.
Like the minute she graduated from college, her dad's like, "I'm done."
I graduated in June. She was gone Labor Day.
Yeah.
I think my parents tried to wait, but my mom couldn't make it. So it was my senior year of college. And then when I graduated, she moved out. And then when I graduated, my dad was like, "So, you moving home?" I'm like, "No, I'm staying in East Lansing." He's like, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Anything." He thought we were going to have like a swinging bachelor pad at the house. I said, "No, sir. That will not be happening."
That could be kind of weird. That's my. If I could give advice to anyone, it would be like, because you'd be amazed how many times I hear from people, like friends, like, "Yeah, probably get divorced. Wait until the kids are older." It's like, you can't buy this time back.
Don't
like,
wait.
Yeah, just get divorced. Like
12.
Don't wait. Sorry.
Life is short.
Yeah, like seriously, like if
it's not working, it's not working.
What if I told you saved, let's say, $1 million by staying married for like 7 years?
It's not worth it.
Just stop, because I'm getting somewhere. You're going to agree with me, because I agree with you. Say it's like let's just put a figure on it, $1 million. So 7 years. So say you're 45 when you make this decision. You're 52. You've made the $1 million, and then you get divorced at 52. Wouldn't you give $1 million to not have lived with the person and to been able to have sex with whoever you wanted and had your freedom for those 7 years? Wouldn't that be worth $1 million to you? Sex is really the last of it, but like just not dealing with it anymore. Like, why suffer through something that's not working anymore for money? Like the money is, and by the way, you're not fooling your kids. Like your kids are very well aware that if you're talking openly about we're getting a divorce, but we're going to do it in like 4 yeyears, there's no way the kids aren't, unless they're like 3, aren't somewhat aware of that there's trouble in the marriage. I would assume.
Even if you're not talking about it, they're picking up on it.
Well, that's
They're
what I'm
just savvy
saying.
That way, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, not even talking to it with them, but you're talking about it amongst yourself, the two of you. Then that's what I'm saying. I'm saying your kids are probably hip to things aren't going great. They're around a lot. Yeah, my advice would be, if I've given this advice, I'm like, if you're thinking about it and you're going to do it, don't put a date on it. Just do it.
I've given the advice as well, and it might have even been to you.
Yeah, probably was. Probably was. It might have been to me. That's absolutely true. All right. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, guys. I'm just curious about your thoughts on this distinction. And Norton's bid, I think one of the things is the difference between switching allegiances and withholding support. And I'm 42. I grew up around here. I remember going to empty stadiums when Aaron Seeley was pitching for the Sox and D. Brown was on the Celtics, and so like I'm never going to switch allegiances, but I got 2 small kids, so expensive. I'll withhold support until Henry sells the team, or does that make me a bad fan?
No,
I don't know.
No. It makes you're like everyone else, myself included. Again, when I moved to Boston, I couldn't get people to take my Bruins tickets. I couldn't get them to take them. No one would take them. No, you're under no obligation. Believe me, I'm not running out last year to go see the Jets play. I went to go see the Lions in the playoffs. Why? Because I like going to Detroit more than the Meadowlands, the stupid MetLife Stadium out peskily away from the city. If the MetLife Stadium was in Manhattan, I'd go. But no, it's not. It's a train ride from a train ride. So no, I don't want to go. It's going to literally a swamp with nothing around it. No, I don't want to. Rather stay in downtown Detroit where I grew up, around where I grew up, and walk to the stadium.
Yeah, it's the not forking over your money to go to games and to travel to games and all that stuff. You can still be a fan if all you're doing is watching and paying attention. And like you said before, Fred, the fandom, it's like your sexual, whether you're gay or straight. You don't have a choice whether or not you remain a fan sometimes. However, if you do just like turn it off and like, no, I'm not paying attention, I'm not even going to watch, much less go to a game, then I think in baseball that's way easier to do. Well, because it's such a burden lifted from you. It's like, God, I don't have to watch this
Even
anymore.
rabid fans, only 1% or less watch every game.
No, that's less than that. Only Lockhart's dad has ever done that. Now, look, I'll give you an example. I like the Bruins. I'm a Bruin. I consider myself a Bruins fan. I'm on the station that has the Bruins. I do a daily show. I didn't watch any of their last 15 games. Probably not. Maybe a second, but I certainly wasn't going to sit down and watch those games. And it's technically, quote unquote, for work. But we weren't going to get into any specifics about what was going on. They were out of it. I'm not going to waste my time doing that. There's other things to do in life.
You missed some crisp line changes. They figured out a couple of things at the end of the season.
That's what I'm told.
Like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I taped them all. I mean, I'll go back and I'll review the tape at my leisure.
Yeah.
At my leisure.
Maybe
and I'll break down these new free agent signings.
Maybe you would have known who Murat Hustadinov was if you had watched them.
And that's why I feel very comfortable going on the air and telling people I don't know who that is, because if I don't know who it is, there's very few people that do, because I can't imagine if I wasn't watching it, many people were. Now, if the Patriots have a game, football's different. I got to at least consume it in some way, shape, or form. Now, if the Jets are on at the same time, I will not consume the Patriots game live, because I do not consume the Patriots game to enjoy it. And will I be constant, like that last year with Belichick? Was I locked in? No. Was I locked into the Jets-Patriots game, the last game of the season? No. I went out with friends, and it happened to be on. And how much of that actual game I took in, I cannot tell you. But no, you're under no obligation to watch something that's terribly boring. Absolutely not. No, it's not fun unless they're good or unless they're working towards something. Like the Bruins, I'll just use the Bruins example. It was horrible in 2006. Then when they got Savard and Chara and Bergeron and Marchand and those guys came up, you knew, and that I always use the example of the Montreal series in 2007. They took them to Game 7. Like, you knew that they weren't going to win the Stanley Cup, but it was very exciting. It's one of the loudest I've ever heard the Garden. Is that game? Was it Game 5 or Game 6 that they won? Game 6, I guess it would be, that they won at the Garden. Was one of the loudest I've ever heard the Garden, because you're building towards something. Yeah. I had Thrasher season tickets. I wasn't a fan of the Thrashers, but there was a game that was the last game of the season. They weren't making the playoffs, but it was to like have a winning record. And they had at the time they had Savard and Kovalchuk and that goaltender, a Heatley, and like it was loud and sold out because you were like, oh wow, this team's going to be good. They weren't. But that's the thing, is young quarterback like Drake May, that I would watch those games because you're gunning for something. But that last year with Belichick, why would you possibly watch one of those games? Why? And certainly, why would you pay to go? Why would you drive if you live in Foxborough and you work at a restaurant around there and someone hands you tickets? I could see you walking in.
People were trying to convince me, and one of them may work on the midday show, that people would attend that last season of Belichick, even though very early on you knew they weren't going to be good. People would attend to see who? What are you there to see? Well, Belichick. You know, he was like the draw.
He actually said that to you?
He wasn't the only one. Like, Belichick would somehow be a draw for people to attend the games and like see him on the sideline.
Yeah,
like,
watch
you
Bill.
Guys are out of your mind if you think that. Like, in theory, okay, I understand why you might say that in passing, but actually put yourself there in the stands. Like, you're going to be focused in on watching Bill Belichick on the sideline, like talking to the headset. No, it's not enough.
Well, I mean, people are always talking about, like, I was there to see Francona manage. I mean, I was there while he was in the same vicinity. Like, he was within, like, at least
it was
a couple
90
hundred
degrees
yards of me.
and he was wearing a quarter zip, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah, with no sleeves, though. He was wearing a quarter sleeve, but look, I mean, everyone wants to be in the same vicinity as the great coaches. I mean, I remember Perlis when he was the defensive coordinator of the Steelers. My dad used to wax about watching him on the sideline.
That's why we used to go to those Michigan State games when I was there, just to see Perlis. Call 3 run plays and then punt.
Yeah, just be miraculously conservative. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub.
sport.
During Hardy, and football season is coming up. College football season, obviously, sooner than the NFL, and that leads us, now that I've defended Jordan on the show yesterday, I don't like people taking attacks of the couple when they are not legitimate attacks because it cheapens the legitimate attacks. By the way, congratulations to Chris Long for not getting it and jumping to the defense of that older men date younger women all the time, which shows a real lack of intelligence by him. Is that, of course, that's true. That's why if everyone made a big deal about it all the time, it would be uninteresting. What's interesting, he's like, Belichick always got the best of the media. Did he now? Or was he protected and was able to hide his otherwise stupid ways because of the Patriots? And now that he's loose, he's just like every other idiot.
Yeah, that was the only thing that really annoyed me about that Chris Long take was as he always got the best of the media. How so?
Yeah, like when did he outfox the media when he was getting caught for every cheating? When he got caught.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, the brilliant tactician.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah. And then as soon as he started losing, he outfoxed the media by getting fired and not getting another NFL job. That genius. And then he turned around and, like everyone else that's successful and rich and old, should they so choose, banged younger women.
Started
giving
away
giving them all
millions of dollars.
Just started giving away millions of dollars and making it public and worth ridicule. Brilliant. Yeah, you're contradicting yourself, Chris Long. See, if he's so good at outsmarting the media, then he'd be like every other old rich dude in the seaport that's banging someone in their 20s. Under the radar.
Yeah, you wouldn't hear about it.
Yeah, I don't see these guys hanging out because every divorced guy now lives in the seaport, apparently. Like, all these guys, on seeking arrangements and everything, aren't on their Instagram photos patting themselves on the back for giving the lady money. You're the one, genius. This couldn't have hit at a better time because I know exactly what's going on.
You have,
and I can really
insider information,
and I can really take a 10,000-foot look at it and go, "This isn't me. None of this would be me.
Oh, well done.
It's not me. I can feel free to shoot from the hip because I ain't doing it. So, but look, I know a lot of people that are, but I'm not one of them. Nor do I have any desire to. Anyway." When it comes to playing football, the University of North Carolina, look, there's no doubt about it. They've sold out their season tickets. They charged more and sold them out. So how are they going to do? Our good friend Paul Feinbaum and one of his cohorts talked about it, Hardy.
Yeah, well, since you kind of led with how are they going to do, let's talk about the actual football aspect of it, which Heather, I don't know.
Dinnick, I believe it's
Thank you.
pronounced.
Heather Dinnick kind of touches on here.
Listen, stay out of TMZ, okay?
Oh,
Enough
boy.
of these off-season headlines.
All right, stop. Now you're ruining it for me too, lady. Stay out of TMZ. Just you do the football part. Let us do the wagging our finger.
Yeah, and we cannot afford to have him stay out of TMZ.
Yeah, stop it. You're making it sound trite.
Let's not do that.
Go ahead.
Get embarrassed on the field or off of the field. And the reality is, when I look at Belichick, I feel like the intimidation aura has disappeared. That's the main story right now for me. As far as on the field, they are looking up at Clemson and Miami, if not several other teams in the ACC. But if Clemson is the team to beat, North Carolina is still an afterthought, even with Belichick as the head coach when it comes to football right now. Lots of proof.
So her analysis is that because he's embarrassed himself off the field, that people aren't afraid to play against him anymore.
Not only that, but I would say the way he finished off his tenure with the New England Patriots. I mean, the whole you're playing against Belichick, especially at Gillette Stadium. That's worth a touchdown right there, and people are just going to soil themselves. Standing on the other sideline, looking across the field at Belichick. That doesn't exist anymore.
And even if it look, Bill O'Brien's a more accomplished coach than other than who they played last year, would he not be? BC's schedule last year, like he's more an accomplished coach than certainly. I know they played Michigan State, probably let's say more than one. But I mean that doesn't mean you win. College football, you need players. And Belichick apparently does not have them in North Carolina. If Belichick, I will tell you this, if Belichick screws around and they compete for the ACC, then that's a huge tip of the cap to him. I don't think that's going to happen. Everyone that I know around college football is saying pound the under, whatever the under is.
I know what Feinbaum thinks?
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously.
North Carolina and new head coach Bill Belichick will make the ACC championship.
I am not convinced of that at all. I do think Bill Belichick is going to elevate this program. It's been dormant for a while, and it's time to regenerate. North Carolina is a very good football school, and I know that surprised most people, probably including even in this Tar Heel state. But 8 wins is very doable, maybe more if he gets lucky.
No, listen, if he wins 9 games, that's a credit to Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard anything that they got any kind of great transfer portal action or any kind of huge signings. So that would be fantastic for him. That would be all coaching.
But this is the part of it and the aspect of it that Feinbaum talks about that is interesting because there are different obligations for college coaches. And
you talking ACC Media Day?
How's that going to go?
Oh, yeah.
You have to go to ACC Media Days where you actually have to be a human being, something Bill Belichick has never been during his NFL career. I think he will struggle with that. I think he'll have a hard time talking to some radio guy from Greensboro, North Carolina. He's never done that, and you have to do that to be successful in college. And I still think he's on a learning curve. Lombardi helps it from the GM position.
Yeah,
I still don't think Bill understands the nuances of the game, but he's smart enough to win 8 games, which is really all he has to do.
Okay.
I had so much respect for Feinbaum.
No,
until he said
Feinbaum's
that.
great. Let me tell you how much of an insult is that Belichick can't handle ACC Media Day. When he says all you have to do is act like a human being, he legitimately means act like a human being. Like you have to major markets at the Super Bowl, ACC, these hick towns, they all have media contingent there, and they're not grilling you, but you do have to sit down for interviews with someone who's fawning over you. And Belichick is so devoid of personality and so really stupid that he's going to get frustrated very easily because he's going to be like, this guy's talking to me, and I have to come up with things in my brain to say.
You got to be,
and this is not easy.
You got to be able to sit down Southern style and have a visit.
He's not kidding. Like Feinbaum has to go do all that crap with all those horrible affiliates he's on. He's got to go do all that stuff. He knows of which he speaks. He's not talking about sitting in front of like a firing squad of people peppering you with hard questions. They won't even talk about Jordan or anything. But they're going to be like, oh, coach, and he's going to have to sit there and his brain's going to have to make his mouth say things. And that's a losing situation for him. But he outsmarts the media, according to Chris Long. Who lived up to that contract. All right, we'll be back in just a moment when we find the song of the summer. Adam 12 has given us choices. We'll ultimately decide.
You're listening to Toucher and Hook.
Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox got 6 shutout innings from Lucas Giolito. They beat Colorado again last night, 10-2 at Fenway Park to complete a 3-game sweep. Carlos Narvaez also hit one of the Sox 4 homers on the evening.
The bats came late in the game and opened the game up, but really good, bro, from Giolito, really good. Like, it's been nasty last 6-7 outings, I don't know. Like, it's been good, like, bullpen awesome, the bats are hot.
Masataka Yoshida added 3 hits in his first game of the season. The Sox not only sweep the Rockies, they've won 6 in a row overall, and they're a season-high 4 games over 500. Walker Buehler faces Tampa Bay at Fenway Park tonight. Alex Bregman is now expected to be activated from the injured list at some point this weekend, but he will not be activated tonight. In basketball news, the NBA has announced that 6 groups of the Emirates Cup, its in-season tournament. This year, the Celtics are in Group B with Detroit, Orlando, Brooklyn, and Philadelphia. Some Bruins news from yesterday is the team hired Ryan Bork, the son of team legend Ray Bork, as a new assistant coach in Providence. And even though they outshot Inter Miami CF 6-3, the New England Revolution still lost last night, 2-1 at Gillette Stadium. Lionel Messi, both goals for the winners. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Lobster Lovers Weekend at the 99. Visit this Friday through Sunday and order their colossal or hot buttered lobster roll. You'll get a free 3-course meal upgrade. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Get the app.
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app.
Oh boy, I guess it's time for more Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
He cultivates them. He's like a Questlove type. He's cultivating and curating music on a consistent basis. And Adam, as we've reached, the middle of July, the most exciting time of the year, you have one thing you need to do in July is figure out what's the song of the summer.
That's right.
Is it I Want Candy?
Dun, 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 dun.
Is it, something by, is it Give It To Me Good by Trickster? Is it Tears in Heaven? I mean, what song is it? This song
Scar
of the summer.
Tissue by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Summer
That's the
99.
song of every minute.
Steal My Sunshine.
As Anthony Jeselnik said about Tears in Heaven, he tells a joke about it. He said, that's a smart joke because, number one, you have to know about that terrible song. Number two, you have to know about Eric Clapton's kid and what a clumsy lad he was.
Oh, boy, that's not good.
I'm like, you can't say that.
No, you can't say that. All right, so what's the deal here, Adam?
So I have found 5 strong contenders, I believe, for the Toucher and Hardy Song of the Summer. And I'm going to give you. You have the 5 audio clips, and I've sent you. They were pulled from Instagram, and
Yep.
I've given you each the Instagram link so that you can kind of scroll through or swipe through as each of the artists is playing, because you really need to get a visual to get an appreciation for this incredible music that's being created, and to be able to pass that along to the audience.
Right. So what you're telling me is that these are people that have not necessarily have record deals and are playing live anywhere.
No.
These are people that have decided that their musical offerings deserve to be filmed by a phone.
That's right.
And put on the internet for all to consume.
Yes.
Thereby making themselves available for mockery.
Yes.
Yeah. Because once you film something for people to enjoy and put it on the internet as an adult, in my mind, that leaves you vulnerable to mockery.
You've opened the floodgates.
Because if you want to be loved, you're doing this because you want your art to be consumed and for it ultimate to be loved. You're taking a chance by doing that. A lot of people, they get upset. They go, oh, I put something up and it was all for fun. Well, no, it's not for fun. You did it because you want people to like you. And they might like you or they might not. All right, so here we go. I have a feeling I'm not going to like any of this, but Adam has cultivated these. Here we go. Song of the Summer.
Yes, first song is called Sundress.
All right.
I think.
Well, listen, why not? It's a whole thing. I see.
It's a summer song.
There's a woman. She's got some kind of instrument that's not difficult to play. It just requires hands and slapping, and she's in front of a stupid tent. So I have a feeling this is going to suck. All right, so here we go. You got to film yourself in front of a tent. All the accoutrements of the indoors right there in the outdoors.
I need to get real in a sundress out in the middle of the forest where the birds are my chorus and the earth is...
All right, so say you agree to go out with a girl and like you have dinner and everything's fine and she's absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, let's go back to my house. And you go, okay, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to have sex with this woman. Like if this is going to happen. And you know, she's like, oh, get comfortable, like da-da-da-da. And she's like, I'm going to sit here on the floor and I'm going to get out this steel drum type thing.
I'm angry.
And at what point in this do you go like, I can't follow through with this? Or is there a moment you say, I can't follow through with this?
I need to get real in a sundress out in the middle of the forest where the birds are my chorus and the earth is singing for us. Real in a...
Are people snapping in the background off time?
It sounds like it.
Ugh.
How old am I in this scenario that you just laid out?
Now,
no, I'm gone.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah.
Forget
Oh,
it.
yeah. 18.
If I'm 18, I'm staying forever.
18, if you're 18, I'm not leaving.
No.
I'm not leaving the next day. I'll put up with all of it until you can take a dump in front of me or something, which is happening at some point with this hippie.
Sundress out in the middle of the forest where the birds are my chorus and the earth is singing for us.
Anything that just
it's a quick one.
Like anything like bongos or this stupid thing that this lady has. It's just a tin can in front of her with different holes in it. Like that's not it. Just stop. Just sing your song, stupid, instead of pretending that you play some instrument.
It's an inverted steel drum. I don't see any holes, Fred. Why don't you give some credit to the artist?
Oh, divots, I should say.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's like a big old golf ball. Now you're fascinated. All right, who is this at?
So we had Sundress was one. This
is Lars Ulrich.
This next one on it's song 2, slide 3. This song's called "When the Sign." That's the name of the song, "When the Sign," and it's very uplifting. And the artist is going to set it up for you, so you can just go ahead and he's going to tell you who he is.
He's not a retired guy from System of the Down.
God.
Yes, he has a very long white beard. And,
yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it a beard so much as strings.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
My name is John Gay. After getting...
Hello! How's the Castro district?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Hello, boys. Gay.
My name is John Gay. After getting saved while serving a 9-year sentence for growing marijuana, I got out and recorded 12 songs about that turbulent part of my life.
Wouldn't you have zero faith in God if you got 9 years for growing weed? Like, wouldn't you be like,
there is no God?
Yeah, like, why am I in jail? I don't believe there's a God if you got 9 years for selling weed. I don't want to pay for that. You paying for all your meals? I don't need that.
A part of my life when I felt like hope was my foe. This next song comes out May 2nd, and it's called "When the Sign." Check it out.
Just keep on going. See my life got darker on the 7-mile marker. I was high.
You know, when he was in jail, Hardy, do you think he ever ran into a certain bandit?
Oh, I don't know if he found out about that guy.
I mean, is it
first piece of sex I had was booty?
Yeah.
I growed up in the penal system.
Be a good collab between John Gay and the Booty Bandit.
Yeah, John Gay is like, yeah, like, you know, I'm in jail for 9 years. What you in for? I'm in jail for 9 years. Yeah, that's too bad. What's that booty like? Let me see. You won't get married? Can I talk to your father?
You won't get married?
They ask for his permission to take your hand. I ain't gay, though.
Going to the chapel and we're gonna
get married. I said, you won't get married?
And the sound of a flash grenade, it was hide on kicking in the door. And the frosty barefoot walk to the walls I've never seen before. And my
if you told me that was a new country song, dude, I would believe
I'm
you.
saying,
that's not
windows
bad.
down. This is a summer jam right here.
Yeah,
When the Sign.
That's pretty good.
John Gay.
Okay, John Gay.
So there's your second one.
Are you a booty bandit, John Gay?
And at the end of the video, since he's trying to pitch it, he says,
Contact me, please.
So this third song
Can you do it for me?
is
It sounds like Terrence Howard.
it does a little bit.
does.
So the third song's called Modern Day Judas.
What slide is this?
This is slide 10.
Okay.
You're going to see another. You're going to see another blonde woman in a sundress, but she is performing a completely different style of music here, Fred. That I think you. It's a blonde white woman. That's important to understand as you're listening to this.
She's blonde or brunette?
She is. Maybe she's brunette. She's on stage.
Blonde.
She's a kind of a far away shot. Slide 10 on your.
Okay,
yes.
okay. Oh, blonde. Okay,
Yeah, she's live on stage.
She looks like she's at that hippie festival.
Precisely.
Like that.
is this from Lilith Fair?
No, the one that's coming here. What's that dumb festival? I know someone going to it. That stupid hippie festival that comes. It's like by the Cape. It's
Levitate? Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Meanwhile, me dead on the rise and then big friend happy.
All right, yeah. She looks like someone's that your kid's elementary school's mom. And she looks like she's the head of the PTA. She's couldn't be any whiter. But she's saying to herself, "Why not do this?" What do you think about that, booty bandit? You're probably not interested.
I need some butt.
Yeah, I know. You just once you saw her, you just wanted to get right back into your jailhouse ways.
In prison.
That's right. And so much for this lady. You need to get back to having gay sex immediately. That's true. All right, here we go.
Meanwhile, me dead on the rise and then big friend happy dry to them eyes again. So stone, me win with me mic and pen. Full blown, escape from the iron thing. 10 times, 10 times. Me see them, I do this.
And the thing is, there's a band that like knows how to play the song behind her, which is what's really insane about this whole thing.
Kind of cooking a little bit.
Like, could you go up and play? I'm not doing any of the voices because they'll get taken out of context. But could you get up and play like an Asian song and sing like you were from like Southeast Asia? I don't. Why is a fake patois like
us
allowed?
An example of the voice, Fred.
Please don't.
Go back to 2007 and review the archives. I could do that. John, do a well, you could do this. Do a real like a real Jewish voice, like a stereotypical Jewish voice. You could get away with it.
Yeah.
If I could do it, I'm mostly Irish, so if I could do an Irish accent, I would do it. But I don't understand why that's not like wearing blackface. I'm being dead serious too. That like, and it's one thing if just one person's doing it, but like a whole band got together and got booked at they're on a real stage, like at a real festival. I don't understand how you can. It seems to me like wearing blackface.
It does kind of transport you, though. That could be a song of summer. You hear that, and you're just, yeah.
Made me close my eyes, man.
Then, when he thinks about all his loves of prison, it makes him close his eyes. I don't know why.
Now Miss Booty.
Yeah, I know. All right, what's next, Adam?
We have slide 11, the next one. This is a song called Bleed Blue.
All right, is it two guys tied together?
Yes, it is. And this is for if you like the emo.
We're sure that they're okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Not
so.
like there could be any investigation.
No.
All right, so these guys are back to back, and they are duct taped. It appears together, and they're saying "Bleed Blue."
Yes.
Neither of them are what I would call attractive, but they're probably about like 20 years old. And here we go.
I'll find back to you. Back to you. I'm meant to bleed blue.
No. Okay. Now, why are they strapped together?
I believe it's because they're meant to bleed blue. That's what they're telling me.
I think it's because
you won't get married.
Oh, I see there.
But they're in the wrong shape. I mean, back to back, that's of no use to you, prison booty lover.
Wait a minute, hold on.
It's of no use to you. What's back to back? That's awful. There's no access to anything. Yeah, I know. You're frustrated by the whole thing. All right, Adam.
Let's give you one more. So we've had a nice little kind of folksy summer song in Sundress. We had something that's a crank the windows down, almost country song with When the Sign. A little bit of reggae with modern day Judas, some emo there with Bleed Blue, and now we got to have some beats there and some rhymes in there. So we're gonna listen to Warzone, which is slide 13 for you guys. So this is song 5.
Is this the guy with the USA jersey on?
This is a gentleman.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Because he's representing Brooklyn, Detroit, and the USA.
He's representing many cities with his costume changes in this song.
Yes, he's got a Detroit Tigers jersey, a Brooklyn jersey, and just USA. He loves the USA, as most people do.
I'm out here in the war zone. I'm just trying to get more stone. King of the block on my throne. I got cougars all up in they homo.
Oh, yeah. What did he just say there?
He said, I got cougars all up in their hormones.
Oh, I thought he was talking to the guy from prison.
Else. All right.
What did you think about that guy from prison? You probably were confused at first.
But I tell her the truth, I miss booty.
Yeah, I know. He got you thinking about that. I understand. You misheard the lyrics.
Contact me, please.
And you know he's in a war zone because he's behind the Walgreens. So that really shows you that he found the true urban decay by being behind a chain link fence right by a Walmart.
King of the block on my throne. I got cougars all up in they homo. I'm here by Bowser, pretty like a schnauzer. Your mom said I was too sweet to be sour.
Ooh, wow. Cute like a schnauzer. What do you think about
He's
that?
cute?
Send out some pictures of, I want to see what you got.
I'm here by Bowser, pretty like a schnauzer.
What, like Sha-na-na like Bowser?
I'm hip hop Bowser, or maybe from the Mario games, that Bowser.
Oh, I thought he was doing the Bowser from Sha-na-na.
Oh.
I'm here by Bowser, pretty like a schnauzer. Your mom said I was too sweet to be sour. I'm a running machine, they say I'm nuclear, just cause I've got so much brain power. I can't help but be myself, so I'm talking louder, can be a wildflower. I stand up tall and I speak real clear while y'all looking coward. Run away.
All right. Well, listen.
Well, there are your nominees for the Toucher and Hardy Song of the Summer 2025.
Well, always give me the white lady, speaking like she's an East Indian woman.
So you're all in for modern.
I like the sundress girl.
Real deep sundress.
Because I like the inverted steel drum.
Yeah.
John Wallace,
It's hard to play.
Do you have a vote? Do you have
The
an
two
opinion?
kids taped together, absolutely.
Oh, Bleed
Bleed
Blue.
Blue.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
We'll just have to put all these into rotation this summer.
Absolutely. All right. What do you think about it, Booty Bandit? What do you think about Bleeding Blue?
Oh, what does he think?
Yeah, what do you think about it?
I miss it. I need some butt.
Okay. It all comes back to you needing butt, Booty Bandit. I mean, it really does.
But I tell her the truth, I miss booty.
I know,
Yeah,
I know,
we all
I know. And it's like everything you hear is just a distraction from you missing booty.
Contact me, please.
I will. Your wife, your wife doesn't give up the butt, you said.
Yes, my wife will see this.
Yeah, I know, but she won't give up the butt, right? Yeah, I know. I've heard you. I heard you, Booty Bandit.
Now I miss booty.
Yeah, I know. We should get an AI Booty Bandit.
I need some butt.
Booty GPT.
Yeah, Booty GPT.
All for that.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Like if you're mute in jail and you could just press the button.
G-Booty.
G-Booty, yeah.
Very
and
good.
if
I
you're
like that.
If you're mute or something, or like you lost all your teeth and you're very popular, you can, but you can't talk. You could communicate through this system.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah. No, it's our idea, not yours. You can't have it. Right, Booty Bandit?
Can you do it for me?
Yes, we can. We'll do it for you. When you get too old.
That's my favorite. Doing that for us.
Send out some pictures of, I want to see what you got.
I know you're married now to a woman, but do you miss prison?
Now I miss booty. That's what I miss, booty.
That's what he misses.
First piece of sex I had was booty. I I went in, don't forget, I went into prison, man. I was in jail at 14, turned 15 in jail, hit prison at 16. I growed up in the penal system. But when I got introduced to some booty, hey, it was fire too, boy.
All right, there you go. It was fine, too. One can only reminisce about their days in jail. All right.
Here's that girl singing.
Real deep sundress.
Yeah, that means nothing to him.
No. No, that means nothing to him. He don't like that.
Fire booty.
That's right.
Fire too, boy.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Bill Cotch from the Providence Journal is going to join us about what could be happening with your Boston Red Sox as this goes on.
Toucher and Hardy.
Hardy, the Sports Hub.
Been here 24 years, been a part.
Lots of questions going into this, Bill. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Good morning, guys. How are we?
We are well. Thank you so much as we enjoy this beautiful day. I don't know what it's like down there in Providence, but here it's raining. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. Is it winter there? I don't know what it's like down there for you.
What time is it there?
Currently pouring cats and dogs, but we have hope for the afternoon.
Oh, very good. Well, that's all you need. All right. Well, look, when you look at this Red Sox team, they're at least tied for a playoff spot right now. When you look at this team, how would you handle the deadline in that? Would you buy, sell, or both?
Well, you alluded to the schedule. I think that's going to tell us a lot. You've got the Rays, the Cubs, the Phillies, and the Dodgers coming up. That gets you to July 27th. I think we'll have a lot clearer picture at the end of that stretch. But for me, if you're anywhere in contention and you have a chance to make the playoffs, you need to be a buyer. I think coming into this season, we heard a lot from Sam Kennedy and Craig Breslow about the Red Sox being aggressive and wanting to add to this team and wanting to end this playoff drought and, get back to where they feel like they should be. And it would be quite a contradiction if they were to be in the race like they are right now and go out and sell.
I'm just wondering, Sam Kennedy, Bill, has said a lot over the last 3 or 4 years, and a lot of it has been basically proven to be double talk and him using himself as a shield for ownership. Should Red Sox fans trust what he says?
I would try to pay it as little mind as I could because, as you mentioned, Sam is walking the company line. He has a very difficult job trying to defend John Henry, who largely has been out of the media for the last 5 or 6 years. And the Red Sox have operated in a way that is different from when they did win those 4 World Series championships. And Sam obviously can't acknowledge that publicly, but I think anyone who follows the team can see it. So if I was a fan, I would just watch the action on the field. I would appreciate the fact that they have acquired some good players and that this team does appear to be coming into something and that they do have the potential to add to it.
All right. Would you keep Jarren Duran on this team for the rest of this season?
I would say, guys, I'm not married to any particular player if I get the right offer. And in Jarren Duran's case, I don't know if there's an appetite there to extend him. He doesn't hit free agency until his 30s. So you don't necessarily need to extend him. If you do want to keep him, you could just go along year by year in arbitration. If you get a good offer for a starting pitcher, which I think is a serious area of need on this team, if you get a good offer for a starting pitcher, someone with multiple years of control who you could slot in behind Garrett Crochet either in the 2 or 3 spot, I think you'd have to listen, because as you guys mentioned, outfield is their strength, both on the Major League roster and in the system, and you'd like to deal from a position of strength.
I think it's interesting that when you wrote about the 4 players that could determine what they do toward the end of the month here, Bill, that you didn't mention either Duran or a couple other players. You kind of focus in on some other guys that might have a lot to do with what the Red Sox ultimately end up doing here.
Well, the one thing that I was trying to get to, and there's been a lot of talk in recent years from the Sox about trying to be sustainable, right? About trying to do this for the long term. That was a word that we heard a lot out of Chaim Bloom and certainly out of Sam Kennedy during that time. And the 4 players that I highlighted, Ceddanne Rafaela, Trevor Story, Lucas Giolito, and Garrett Crochet, are their recent performances sustainable? If you believe that Trevor Story is going to be, even 80% of this player the rest of the season, or Rafaela is going to be 80% of this player the rest of the year, or Giolito is going to be, even 70% of the guy he's been the last 6 starts, that means you've got 3 guys who can contribute to a playoff roster. And that would lead me to buy. If you don't believe in those guys, if you just think that the last 4 or 5 weeks have been hot stretches and that eventually they're going to revert to previous versions of themselves or level off, then you would sell. So I think there's going to be a lot of interesting internal discussions on Jersey Street in terms of what is real performance here and what is just maybe 2 or 3 good weeks.
Well, you got to ask the computer that. But I will. But here's the deal: is that how much is available at this trade deadline? With the third wild card spot now, there's very few organizations, fan bases that are like, oh yeah. I mean, this is an obvious sell.
We went over them. There are like 6 teams in Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
total
6
that are
to
out
8
of it.
teams that are like really that would be in a position where they're definitely dealing, and a couple of those rosters are pretty much devoid of talent. That means there's a lot of competition for very few players. How all in are you willing to go if you're the Red Sox? How much are you willing to compete for these guys?
Yeah, it's an excellent point. And that's why I think you see it left so late, all the way to the deadline now. You don't necessarily see early moves anymore, or even discussion of early moves. It really goes into last week now. I think, guys, this opens the door really for more realistic baseball trades. I don't know if, because of the market the way it is, I think you've got to look at teams that have weaknesses where you have a strength. If you have a team that needs outfielders and they have pitching, you would try to engage with them. I think, we talk about hockey trades all the time. Make a real hockey trade instead of just, trading off the roster for a draft pick or cap relief or whatever it may be. Make a real hockey trade. If you need a defenseman, and you have a surplus of forwards, trade a forward for a defenseman. In the Red Sox case, trade an outfielder for a pitcher. And I think that's why, so many people from the outside are putting the pieces together, and you hear Jarren Duran's name come up so often in trade rumors.
Do you believe this is a playoff team? You personally believe this is a playoff team, or like the season up until now, are they going to slide back?
Well, I have concerns about the starting pitching behind Crochet, and he himself is at 120 in the third innings. His career high is 146. Previously, that was last year when he tapered off in the second half. The Red Sox have a long-term decision to make about him. He is the ace here for multiple years, but do you want him to take some jump, to 200 innings, 215, 220 innings this year over the second half? That's an interesting debate physically for him. Behind him, Giolito's throwing the ball very well. Obviously, Brian Bayo was really sharp the other night. Is he really a guy who's going to pitch to a 3.27 ERA the rest of the way? Is he really the guy who they put so much stock in early, giving him a contract extension, buying out his arbitration years? Because beyond that, you're relying on Walker Buehler, Hunter Dobbins, Richard Fitz, Tanner Houck, if he can ever get it together in the minor leagues. I don't know if that's a rotation that can carry you over the last 2.5 months. I think that would necessitate a move.
And the other part of it. Okay, I was just going to say more to your Crochet point. Look what and you mentioned Houck. Look what happened to him this year. Houck blew through his career high in innings by about 80 last year, and look how he's been this season.
Yeah, it's difficult, and it's something that organizations don't want to do. They have a progression in terms of innings, whether it's from the minor leagues to the major leagues or within the major leagues. They only want guys to go up a certain number of years. So in Crochet's case, it'll be interesting to see how they handle him. Also in the bullpen guys, beyond Chapman, Greg Weissert has shown some signs of wear here. Justin Slayton's obviously still out. So I realistically think that if you're going to make a run at this, you need a 2 or 3 starter behind Crochet, and you need a guy who can pitch the 7th to the 8th inning. And, if you get out on the real market and you try to add those 2 pieces, they will be expensive.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because with that third wild card, maybe you're right. Maybe teams will make baseball trades. That would make things a lot more exciting. That you could have 2 teams that are competing, both looking for major league talent to add to their rosters. That would be interesting. All right. Bill Cotch, Providence Journal, thank you so much for the time, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
All right, take it easy. We have a upcoming NBA player about to come into the studio.
I'm looking forward to that.
What's his name?
A.J. DeBonsa.
DeBonsa?
Yes. I only know that because Dan Roach interviewed him about 4 times, and that's how he pronounced it.
He's been at the station before. I think he's friends with Leroy. or has developed a relationship with
Probably
Leary.
Milliken because he's from Brockton.
Oh, yeah.
So he and
Makes
Milliken
sense.
were probably.
Okay.
Well, probably Tyler
I'm
Milliken's
from the
cousin.
streets. I grew up in Brockton.
Yeah, he probably served as a mentor to him. Milliken's a little older than AJ, so but they're probably pretty good friends.
Bet
Kilometers.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I bet AJ can add better than Milliken.
I wish people from Brockton would tell you more that they're from there. There's this secrecy of where they're from that they rarely tell. And it's not like saying I'm from Boston. It's not because that's the area that you're from. It's from that you're specifically from Brockton. I have people that I know that might bring that up every other sentence that they speak. You know, because in Brockton, because growing up in Brockton, because
Sure.
Brockton, I know a guy in Brockton. There's this Brockton.
Sure.
I was in Taunton, which is not far from Brockton, and I saw the signs from Brockton, and I went, "Ooh, we're really close. This is where it all goes down." So I stayed away.
One all the way from Brockton.
I stayed on 24 where I belong. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox are now a season-high 4 games over 500 after their 6th straight win last night. They beat Colorado 10-2 to complete a 3-game sweep for the Major League's worst team. They will continue their pre-All-Star break portion of their schedule. They'll play Tampa Bay tonight. Walker Buehler faces the Rays. In other Sox news, Alex Cora said after last night's win, Alex Bregman won't be activated today from the injured list, but he expects to do so before the end of the weekend. In basketball news, the NBA has announced its 6 groups of 5 for the Emirates Cup. Its in-season tournament. Celtics will be in Group B with Detroit, Orlando, Brooklyn, and Philadelphia. And Lionel Messi scored a pair of goals in the first half last night. Inter Miami CF beat the New England Revolution in Foxborough 2-1. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Veterinary Urgent Care Center. With 8 locations in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, VUCC offers compassionate, convenient, high-quality care 7 days a week. Walk in or book an appointment at veturgentcare.com. Veterinary Urgent Care Center, urgent care for your pet's urgent needs. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9 o'clock.
Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
It's called Rising and Grinding.
Start your
Got
day.
your finger on the pulse, Fred.
Begin your
Seldom right and never wrong.
right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
Kinda looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
Would you have liked to make the All-Star team?
What do you think?
And I will tell you this. I guess they're going to have him at the All-Star game. I went to spring training this last spring, and it took me a while to even realize they were doing it. All that happens is the batter steps out and touches his helmet, and almost immediately it comes on a big screen, and it just says if it's a strike or not. It takes no time. At least in spring training, it took no time.
That same kind of thing. As soon as the batter or pitcher it touches his helmet. And by the way, they can't be coached from the dugout. They have to decide immediately, and as soon as they do, they flash it up on the scoreboard, and the game goes on.
And it's not something even obvious because unless you're like eagle-eyed and just staring at the batter, your eyes don't divert from it at all. There's times you're not even seeing it. Like of a nice vino. But no, the baseball thing is of no issue.
This is seen as an entry to having it permanently implemented at the beginning of next season.
And what are the arguments against that?
There are none that I can see. What could possibly be against getting an occasional ball or strike pitch right in general? Now, the only problems that I've read about over the last 6 months is that the computer isn't pinpoint. It's off by an inch or two at times.
But is it off by because it shows you where in the strike zone the ball was? So that's off?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not right.
That's the concern.
Well, okay,
not every call, but occasionally the computer's wrong.
Well, I got an easy solution. Don't do it until you know it's right. Tennis does it. It takes 10 seconds in tennis too,
and the
but
ball's
it's right.
moving a lot faster.
Yeah, and
so.
it's a way finer a line,
Yeah.
and it's right. The tennis thing is right.
You should be able to.
But the
fix
thing in tennis, there is like a physical plane, and it's touching down on a two-dimensional plane where the ball is. So the technology allows it to be more accurate. You're talking about this. I mean, it's just out there in space. There's no lines where.
Well, you have the plate, which I'm sure you can use as so inside and outside should not be an issue. It would be high or low that would be the issue based on the batter. I could see that being where the problem would lie. But what you would do is you would have a base, and then the base is the width of it, and then based on the batter, you would have a grid come up of what would be a problem.
Fixed points in space.
But you don't need a grid as much as you need a cube or something close to a cube that takes into account the pointy part of the plate.
All right, you're in the garage.
Yeah,
They leave it to you.
Here we
They go, I can't see this unless it's three-dimensional. I got to see this thing.
Right.
You let me see this. What are you building? Oh, yeah, put you on the spot there. First of all, what do you need?
First of all,
what are you pulling out of the shelves?
I need to build some baffling to keep the squirrels off of the new video bird feeder, which I got my wife for Mother's Day. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Because
the love talk about the romance being gone.
Yeah,
no way, Jose.
Yeah, we're just looking at videos.
You're
of
leaning
birds.
into retirement.
Yeah, coming to the feeder. Oh yeah.
Now, how often do you do that?
Sending screenshots of birds to each other.
John? That would be funny if you just sent her a picture of John one time. John eating a sandwich.
You know what would be really good if you just come over to the house one day. You don't have to tell me. Just walk by the bird feeder because it'll pick up the motion detector.
Oh, yeah.
No, you know what would be funny? Here's what you do. Is you take a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and you put it in the bird feeder and you send it to your wife and you go, ha, ha, ha. And she goes like, that's not funny. And then later in the day, you have a picture of John eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich by the bird feeder. I mean, that would be a great joke. Like, if you didn't even let her know anything was going on, you set it up with the peanut butter jelly sandwich. Yeah. She's like, that's not funny.
I've never seen John eat.
What?
Ooh.
I've never seen you eat.
You weren't here
way
for
back in the day when he used to
and ranch
when he used to dip the cheese sticks into the ranch. I I saw the remnants of it, but I never actually saw him consume it.
Well, you count yourself lucky. I had to put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, that was in the early stages of the program.
I was like, John, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm smacking away over
the
there.
The diet has changed significantly since then.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So
But
you don't know what you'd build.
With the strike zone that you look at on TV, it's like, oh, it missed it. I'm like, how do you know it missed the entire plate? You're looking at a 2-dimensional rectangular box over the plate, and it may have caught a portion of the plate. You know, it was outside when it approached that. But where is that box? Is it over the middle of the plate? Is it at the top of the plate?
I don't know.
Well, they got to figure that out too.
I just thought you had lasers and things, man. Time. What is time? What is space? Are we?
Does anyone even know
think about Hardy?
what time it is?
Yeah.
I mean,
does anyone even care?
I mean,
about time?
it's all man created.
So I can't
anyway,
imagine why.
Well, you're just the smartest guy in the room today.
There's time enough to die. Wow, all that.
well, there's a time to be born and a time to die.
Ecclesiastes. I learned that from watching Footloose.
I just go, listen, every time you open up Leviticus, you'll have yourself a time. Don't worry about anything else. I knew a girl in college who wanted to start a band, Leviticus.
Really?
Not for real.
Oh.
But she just thought it would be the answer to Striper, but like way more hardcore. Like you're Striper, you're just talking about it in our songs are only about the book of Leviticus. And that's it. Put like 20 albums out.
Kind of pigeonholing the band early on.
Well, that's the idea. It's like they're the crass of or they're the youth of today. Of
even
the Christian movement.
Apocalyptica had to branch out a little bit.
You know what was a good album was Reload. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. AJ DeBonza is going to join us, and he is going to be, if not already, making money.
Soon.
For playing sports.
Yeah.
All right. So you hang on to your hats. We got a big superstar here. We Leroy's developed a relationship with the family. Johnny, you get on that. When he goes pro, we guilt him into putting him on the show. This is called building relationships.
I like it.
John, and you're the one with the people skills. So
I'm on my way out there. Yes.
Yeah, get out there right now.
All right, very good.
Get out of here. I'm not kidding. Get out of here. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more.
is AFM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Make it 6 straight wins for the Red Sox. They beat Colorado for a second straight game yesterday evening, 10-2 at Fenway Park. Lucas Giolito, 6 shutout innings for the win. Sox play Tampa Bay tonight at Fenway. Alex Cora said after last night's win, Alex Bregman won't be activated off the injured list tonight, but is expected back at some point this weekend. 34-year-old Ryan Bourque, son of Hockey Hall of Famer Ray Bourque, has been hired as a new assistant coach in Providence with the Bruins. And at Gillette Stadium last night, Lionel Messi scored twice. Inter Miami CF beat the New England Revolution 2-1. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Green Home Solutions. If you've got mold or funky odors creeping around your home or office, don't mess around. Visit greenhomesolutions.com/Boston to book your free consultation today. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
Hey, listen, if you've got to go.
Shut up, Nick. The mics are on.
The Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Toucher and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On the Sports Hub.
I'll tell you.
All right, here we go.
Nicholas really pushing
What
things
is
here.
going on?
He's an idiot. The red light means the mics are on, stupid. Get out of here, you dumbass. I'm sorry you two had to see that. Extraordinarily unprofessional. All right, AJ DeBonza is he's been around. He's never come in before. He's with Leroy all the time. His father Ace is here as well. How the hell am I supposed to know you're here? I just see you guys walking around. I don't know what's going on. All right. So anyway, AJ DeBonza is some saying one of the great recruits of the generation. He's from Brockton, and we've been following this for a long time. All of us have kids in youth sports, so this is what every father has been torturing your kids with, and then this is paid off for you. I want to hear from both of you. Thank you for joining us. First of all right. So when you first, so I'll start with you, Ace. So AJ's playing basketball, and he's a little kid, and you start realizing he's going to be a big kid, and he's going to be tall, and then you realize he's got some skill. At what point do you go, all right, this is going to be more than just him screwing around playing youth basketball at the local level? Like when has that decision been made?
First, he didn't want to play basketball.
Okay.
He was like 4 or 5. I'm like, you got to do something. So he refused. Just want to play with the sisters. So what saved me was he was in love with Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, everything Spider-Man. Shoes, socks, hat, jacket,
right.
I mean, name it. So I went to Kmart one afternoon rather, and I came across a Spider-Man basketboard. It was covered with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I bought it, took it home. I was like, AJ, all he saw was Spider-Man.
Right.
So I took him to his room, put it together. I'm like, you can shoot from your bed. The rest is history.
All right. So AJ, your father tricked you into this. He tricked you into this life. So you're playing. AJ, at what point do you realize, like, all right, was there ever a time you sucked? And like you were just like learning the game, or did you realize like kind of like right away? At what age were you where you're like, wow, I'm better than these kids?
I was like 14, like 13, 14.
Okay, so 13, 14, because sometimes you know this, like in AAU and everything, that can start at like 8 years old.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't until you were 14. Was it growing, or was it your coordination, or what got together where you were like, all right, I can actually do this?
Nah, it was like COVID time, and like I was bored, so I just like went to go work out every day, and people was just like on the game and eating.
Right.
So like I was in shape, and then when we came back, like I was just like way better.
And you had that in yourself to actually put that work in. You weren't bored by it.
Nah.
Yeah, because you realize for like a high school kid, like a 14-year-old kid, that's extraordinarily rare to want to like go out and put that boring work in, like that like physical work in. That's tough to do. That does make you like unique in that way. You realize that, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Well, I think we all flourished during COVID. You especially, Fred.
I ended up in rehab.
He had a
It was a whole thing. I had a horrible drinking problem.
So AJ developed into what he is today, this burgeoning basketball superstar, and you had to go to the funny farm.
There's no middle ground. You either go one direction or another.
Yeah.
Wow.
AJ, if you never found weight, you could have been like me and been a complete mess. All right. So when do people start paying attention to you? Like it gets out. Like I am interested in the point. So you've developed your body. You start realizing you're better kids. What starts happening at that point for either of you? Like when do AAU coaches start calling in? When do people start texting and saying, like, is AJ interested in playing for this team in this tournament? When does that all start?
After COVID, when he came out of COVID, he grew 5 inches.
Okay.
One summer, and the following summer grew another 3 inches, I believe. So his game changed. I mean, he was above everybody else.
And that's hard to put weight on when you're growing like that, too. So are you actively trying to keep weight on and get stronger during all that when you're growing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you at St. Sebastian's during COVID during that time? Afterward. Okay.
Yes.
Because now people aren't coming out of the woodwork, but I know a teacher at St. Sebastian's. I don't know if you ever had him, Mr. Tremblay. He's a math teacher there, but he's
just showing off, AJ. He's trying to create a connection with you through these deep roots.
Dan Roach is now texting me. He's like, Ace is a good man. AJ is great. It's like, so now this is the point now where everyone is going to start claiming some kind of connection. You know, to say like,
and this is your way of doing it?
I know Dan Roach.
Yeah, you know Dan Roach.
Well, everyone knows Dan.
Dan Roach comes to my kid. My kid goes to the Lawrence
a good
Academy.
man.
Dan comes to my kids' games too. Don't feel special. He'll do it for anyone. He sells himself out. All right. So you go to St. Sebastian's. Do they come to you? Does St. Sebastian's see you play and they come to you and they're like, we'd like AJ to come to school here?
Actually, no. We went to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And my wife was about academics.
Okay.
And San Sebastian's like the Harvard of high school.
Right.
And
yeah, those ISL teams athletically and academically are great. They're great. My son goes to one of them too, so I can speak on that. And so you go to St. Sebastian's, and what is that transfer like for you? Is that difficult socially? The reason my son did the same thing. Sophomore year, he went to Lawrence Academy. He had been going to public school. That, you know, it's an interesting transfer. When you went to St. Sebastian, what was that like for you?
No, I was straight. I mean, I've been in private school since 6th grade.
Okay. And so, was there, when did scouts start coming out to watch you?
8th grade.
8th grade. Okay. And when did the coach, I keep saying, I'm trying to create some kind of rapport.
I got it.
So I went to school with Chris Webber. He was 2 years older than me. And when he was in high school, junior and senior year, like Krzyzewski and Izzo or it might have not even been Izzo at the time, but Krzyzewski would be there. Bobby Knight was there. There were like these. When did the real head coaches start coming?
8th grade.
8th grade. So you would have D1 head coaches coming to games in 8th grade. All right. So you're still a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You see these guys. And it's enough to just like be playing and like wanting to win the game. But now you see these guys. How long did it take you to get used to performing in front of these coaches?
Like a game.
Really? It was that easy for you? You can take it out of your head. You can get it out of your head.
Yeah, like I was like nervous at first, like during warm-ups. I'd be like, bro, that's like John Shire, or that's like whoever it was. And like when you get in the game, like you kind of just gotta like play the game.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to ask you to name names, but were there coaches that you liked better than others? Like, were there some coaches? I don't need the conference, the division level, anything. Were there coaches that you talked to where you were like, wow, I really like this guy, and some coaches that you talked to, you're like, eh? Or was it all kind of the same?
He didn't talk to any coaches.
You know what I'm saying? I understand. Like, the coaches aren't allowed to talk to you, until August of
Even when they were allowed. He didn't talk to
you
coaches.
did not talk to coaches, so you blocked that. You would not. Look at you. That's very smart. So how did you handle that then, Ace? How did you handle being the
Were they coaches that you liked better?
Now feel free to speak up.
Oh, of course. He got 34 offers.
Mm-hmm.
34?
I think so.
Yeah, 34 offers. I told him, you only go to one school. You don't need to talk to 34 coaches.
Right.
Focus on basketball and school. I handle them.
Okay.
So I told every single one of them, you want to talk to them, come through me.
Right.
Offer, and that's it.
Yeah.
No communication, no nothing. When you now the league's down to about 6 or 7, then you can talk to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the numbers. As long as you don't share his number to agent or manager, anybody else, do not share his number. Otherwise, I'll cut you off. And once he makes his decision, don't blame me.
Okay, so and AJ was in a unique position because you could have gone wherever you wanted to go, and so it was up to you to narrow those choices down. Now, how much of that was NIL, and how much of that was the coach, and how much of that was the program? What were the factors going into where you guys? AJ was ultimately your decision, but what you guys decided to do?
My wife and I decided, excuse me, not to tell him the money part. We didn't want money to be, the decision for him.
Right.
The factor. So he picked his schools, and he decided where to go. So after he made a decision, we told him, this is the minimum wage they gave you.
Okay.
So what did you base your decision on then? What was
like a non-sugarcoating coach, just a winning program and like a family atmosphere in the school.
All right, and you chose BYU.
Yeah.
And that's unique in that it's Utah. And but you decided that it was the coach, or you really like the coach?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about him did you like?
I mean, he came from the NBA. Like 2 seasons ago, he was coaching the Phoenix Suns. So he used to coach like Kevin Durant and Chris Paul and Devin Booker and all them. And he brought like his dietitian, who's from the Suns, analytics from the Suns, and like he brought a strength coach from the Bucks. So he brought like an all NBA staff.
Wait, so you think you're going to play in the NBA? No, I'm just kidding. All right, so you saw that.
Wow.
That's wow. That you actually made a good business decision.
My God.
All right, so like in the summers, are you in the summers and stuff now playing against or playing like in gyms with NBA guys and stuff or ex-NBA guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like a month ago, I was just with like Jonathan Kuminga.
What'd you just say? What'd you say?
Like a month ago, I was with like Jonathan Kuminga.
Okay, Jonathan Kuminga. All right. And what's it? They're men,
I am too.
Very good. How old are you?
18.
All right, so you can vote and everything. All right, so
I hear that the
you know what I'm saying. There's like a 26-year-old guy, and then there's like an 18-year-old guy, but you can hang with them. You feel like you feel like when you're out there that.
I mean, I go to BYU with all the Mormons, and the oldest kid on my team's like 26.
Yeah, they have those. They go on missions, and that's right. And so they come back and they're
break. Yeah.
Right. They're bald with 8 kids. I understand what you're saying.
So is the speed of the game when you're playing against older players, is that the biggest factor? I hear that a lot in basketball and other sports, that the game is just quicker and it happens quicker, and guys just see things quicker as you go up to that level and you're playing with more skilled and accomplished players.
It's really not even that, because you really want to play faster. It's really just like the physicality part.
Physicality.
Right, because that's what I'm saying is that these are guys that have been working out and had all those things about them. But you make a great point because now because you reclassed to go up, like Cooper flagged it. Like you could have been next year's high school class, but you classed to 2025, and you make a good point is because, I mean, there are kids that are 20 years old playing high school basketball, and then you go to BYU where there are kids that went on missions and stuff like that, and they're legitimate like middle-aged men. These are guys with like AARP cards.
I'm
yes, go
I'm
ahead,
wondering
Jonathan.
if you talked to Cooper Flagg about his experience, because you basically walking the same path he is or did.
Yeah, like we talk here and there. I mean, there's kind of different paths. Cause this is my original grade. Like I was born in to be in class 2025, but he's like a month older than me. So like he was never class 2024. He just decided to reclass up a year because he was like the age of eligibility.
Okay. And there is like this great like generation of prep kids coming out of the Northeast or coming out of like New England. Is there a reason for that you guys think? Is there anything in particular? Has it always been like this? I'm unaware. Because you hear Worcester Academy, you hear about you hear about Cooper Flagg.
This is different. This is different.
There is this generation. Did you grow up playing with those kids? Do you think that helped at all? Like having that kind of talent around?
I think just New England as a whole was just always underrated, like with basketball players. And now it's just like we just got to showcase it.
Yeah, because if you look at the top prospects in these next couple of years, the very top heavy with kids from New England. It's interesting. Well, look, what a ride! And you knew 8th grade that this would be going on. And then they throw these curveballs with NIL and everything at you, and you got to navigate all of that.
In 8th grade, I mean, my goal as a dad was not NBA. I mean,
Sure.
it's a lottery.
Right.
Every million kids want to play in the NBA. There's only 450 players. My goal was get a free education.
Right.
I just wanted to go to school for free. I didn't have to pay for college. I didn't want to pay for college. He wanted to go to the league, but what he didn't realize, in order to get his goal,
Right.
he had to get to my goal.
Right.
So as soon as he got that first offer from Boston College, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, and it's got to be because you go. There's $90,000 a year off my plate now. If I was going to send him to BC, was there anything in you just take it, dude? Just take the BC offer.
Quick.
just take it now. Like take it. Put your name on the paper.
BC was the first, but I knew there was more coming.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, look, you two, congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry this is the first time in. If we had better people working for us, they would have grabbed you and put you in here before. But you saw Nick. He's terrible. He doesn't even know when the mics are on. But look, so what is the plan now? When do you head off to Provo? Is Provo, right? Is when do you head out to Utah?
I mean, I've been there, but I go back on Monday.
Okay, you go back on Monday.
Yeah.
And is it like full on basketball right now over there?
Yeah, I already did my spring semester, so I got no class. I'm just playing.
Oh, wow. And what was that adjustment like going there spring semester?
That went to heart.
You're handling things very well.
Wow.
I could see if I'm like someone in the league, like if I'm a GM talking to you. And here's why. A, that you took that COVID time to work on your body, which is very rare for kids. And B, the confidence that you have. It seems like you're extraordinarily confident. And that, Ace, does that come from you? Are you going to take credit for that?
Mom.
The confidence?
Mom.
Yeah, okay, the mom.
Yeah.
All right.
Smart man.
Yeah.
Them Jamaican girls, they don't.
They don't play. All right. Yeah, that's what you're saying. All right. Yeah. Your mother was the disciplinarian age?
No, it was him.
Okay. Yeah. So it was him.
Yeah.
He was tough on you.
Yeah.
Surprised you didn't ask him about the World Cup. You just got a gold medal.
Oh.
19U.
Okay. All right.
Congratulations.
How the hell would I know? All right. So okay. So there was you got a gold medal?
Yeah.
All right. In the Worlds?
Yeah.
All right.
FIBA under 19.
All right. What do I know? The FIBA under 19. I'm supposed to know that. All right. So what was that like?
Sports Nation. You should be covering sports.
Okay, that's true. But these are minor athletic events.
We did a big thing on Ultimate Frisbee earlier in the week.
I mean,
Maybe you didn't hear
that. Yeah, I mean, you don't listen to the show, man. we got bigger fish to fry.
If the basketball thing doesn't work out, you'd make a great receiver in Ultimate with the height and the speed and your willingness to work on the game.
He doesn't even know about what that is.
Nah, I know about it, but I mean, I'll stick to just the gold medals.
Okay, so you got to go. Who else was on that team? On the under 19 team.
It was 12 of us. Me, Koa Pete, Michael Brown, Tyron Stokes, Brandon McCoy, Caleb Holt, Daniel Jacobson, Fleece Johnson, Nick Kamenia, JJ Mandaquit.
All right, when you look at these kids and where they're going to school, besides BYU, who else to keep an eye on in terms of schools with like, for amateurs like us who didn't know about the under 19 championship?
Well, the only one we're really pretty worried about is Koa because he goes to Arizona and they're in our conference.
Yep.
Everybody else is not in our conference.
Okay, cool. Well, the tournament,
Yeah, the tournament you never know.
Yeah, you never know in the tournament. All right, well, listen, it's a great story. You worked hard, and congratulations. I mean, you hear about a lot of kids with all the ability in the world, and it falls off at some point.
Yeah.
So. Congratulations, and Ace. Congratulations on the way you handled this whole situation.
Thank you.
And you make the area proud. How many high school kids have we had on the air? Not many, unless Hardy drags them on and some ultimate kid. All right, well,
So
look.
are you going to be keeping up? Or like, it's just like a one-time thing?
I would love to establish a relationship with you guys. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have I'll give you my home number. I'll give you my cell phone, anything you need. Anytime you want to come on the show, you're welcome on the show. From here until eternity, no matter what happens, no matter what goes on, you're allowed on the show.
Why don't you start following him on Instagram, YouTube,
Done.
X, TikTok.
Okay.
Done.
All right. We'll follow each other. We'll do it that way. AJ. And
Start with the Instagram right now.
And we'll collaborate on posts, okay? We'll get some brand deals going. Your dad will handle it. We'll get some I'm 50, so we'll be right the same thing.
567,000 followers. Now it's about to be 567,001.
I have 25,000 followers. Don't worry about it. We're playing in the same sandbox. Don't worry about it. I have more erectile dysfunction people coming to me asking for me to prompt their products. All right, AJ and Ace, thank you so much. I honestly, seriously, anytime, I know this is still home base, wherever you are, look, people are very proud that you're from here. It's great that you guys are doing this. And please, we would love to establish a relationship with you guys and have you back whenever possible. So thank you. And best of luck. Congratulations on the gold medal. Thank you for bringing it up when you damn well knew I didn't know. And you made me look silly. All right. Thanks, AJ. We appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Nicholas, I need a link of that interview to send to Ace, AJ's dad. Don't drop the ball. We exchange phone numbers, if you must know.
He is very sure of himself. He's very genuine. You usually don't see that in 18-year-olds. He's very confident in what he can and can't do.
Yeah.
I mean, he's you know, you talk to him about playing against older guys.
What'd your boys do during COVID, Wallach?
Yeah, sat on their asses. Didn't do
Turned
didn't
into
do much at all.
World-class basketball players?
No, not even close.
Wondered where Dad was.
Everybody else's dad gets to work.
Did
from
they learn a
home.
language? Did they
Jeez.
go to the gym every day? Oh,
my God.
Okay.
All right, there you go. All right, what do you have for us?
I have someone
I'm
who's
I'm
very.
working hard over here.
I have someone who's very angry at Adam.
Me?
Yes, you.
Hardy, share your concept of what Adam was wearing.
Oh, I made mention of the fact, I don't know how it brought up. I said between the floppy hat and the apple orchard shirt and those socks, I said, I can't take you seriously today, nor would I go out to eat in a restaurant with you dressed like that today.
Yeah. I wouldn't ask you to. It's okay.
I can't. What are you doing?
I don't know, man. I'm working like the orange and green motif today.
Why?
I don't know. I like how it looks. Okay. I don't dress for anybody else but myself.
That's true.
I dress to keep myself motivated.
You look like a bit player in a 70s movie. You know, like you're the guy who's trying to get the job at the car wash, but can't quite get it together enough to get one.
I mean, just the combination of colors is almost unbelievable.
And it's by design now too. This is not something I just threw on the first thing. It's like he coordinated that outfit.
I'm like a bizarro Hardy. I try to also coordinate outfits the way you do, except you do a very classy job of it, and I look like a clown. And I'm okay with that.
I didn't try it.
No. Well, you had your REM t-shirt.
So explain your outfit, how it's coordinated today.
Because I have an orange hat. There's a little bit of orange in the shirt here, and I've got the orange in my sneakers with the green in the sneakers, and the green is in the shirt. So it's kind of like the orange and green motif today.
Orange in the shirt.
I'd like you to
like in this part of it, the red on the outside, but that's a little more orange. Yeah.
It's an unstructured hat, which you got to get rid of those. Number one.
Yeah, it's a little. Well, it gets crooked with the hat with the headphones.
No, he's talking about the literal structural integrity of the hat.
Yeah. Well, it's a good hat to wear when it's raining out because it's waterproof.
You are very much an 85-year-old woman. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, one must dress for the elements. I guess hiking's off the table
the
today.
novelty socks.
Swimming, unfortunately.
What is it with you and the novelty socks?
I love the novelty socks. Everybody loves the novelty socks except for you two. And I can't speak for John. I'm sure.
What did I say? I didn't even say anything. I mean, I don't like them, but I never said that. I didn't say anything. This was Hardy's party, not mine. You don't have to bring me into it. You're just gonna make yourself feel bad. It's like
I don't feel bad at all.
It's like you're searching for people to make fun of you.
I'm perfectly comfortable and confident. I like dressing the way that I dress. Again, I dress for myself, not for anybody else. But anyway,
well,
John
imagine if everyone behaved like that.
John said someone's upset with me. Though.
Yeah,
I'm more interested
it's
in
about
that.
the 8 o'clock break, the Songs of Summer.
Okay.
It says, worst bit of all time. Adam 12 is a tool when it comes to music. Worst taste ever. Sometimes bad bands are just bad bands, not, quote, underground, unquote.
Look, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, every single one of those songs had potential to be a song of the summer, in my opinion. And I don't know. What do you guys think? You heard all 5 of them, you know?
I mean, anytime a lady's playing an instrument that just requires hands.
I think that emailer didn't understand the bit.
Unclear on the concept.
Yeah.
Yes, quite clear.
Yeah. Here's a crossover suggestion from Sean. Booty Bandit and Naked Guy in the Trunk. How would those two? Okay.
First piece of sex I had was booty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There you go. So I think Naked Guy in the Trunk, when he eventually went to jail for being naked in the trunk, would have been a very willing recipient of the advances of the Booty Bandit.
Hold on. Are you ready, 12? Same one. Are you ready?
Can you do it for me?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Contact me, please.
It's part
I'm
of
the son of the Pope.
No, yeah, and it's a rite of passage, is what we would say as well, when he was offering his booty. It's a rite of passage. All right, Freddie T, I called in excited because I thought I had an idea for your Instagram, a reel with AJ that would get a different demographic, and I get hung up on. I'm a loyal listener. We should have really put something up on Instagram. That was stupid of us. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that should have been the first thing that we did. Boy, that was dumb.
Yeah, we missed that one.
Yeah, we missed that.
Did you get any photos with you and Ace and AJ when you guys were in the studio there that we took that or that?
No.
Did
No,
Ace
I was
take
doing
any
the
photos?
interview.
Okay.
No.
I mean afterwards. I know they were in there for a little while after.
I was talking to him and getting his phone
Yeah,
number.
I was going to say you could get him.
It's almost like we would need a staff of people to come in and snap photographs and think of these things for us while we're in the middle of a conversation.
If only we had a guy who was in charge of our Instagram account that could have come in and taken care of that. I do need that interview to send Ace, though, because if AJ puts that up, that's good for everybody.
Yeah.
We're working on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, look for that around 10 o'clock tonight. He'll be retired by the time that comes out. I'm a loyal listener. Is this really how you're treating the audience now? And honestly, it's not the first time. Yeah, maybe the idea was a little corny or silly, but I was just trying to think of a fun reel you could do. Instead, it's let's put you on hold or okay, I'll let them know. And then click. The hang-up's total BS, and it's starting to feel like a pattern. Kyle. Well, all I can say, Kyle, is that Nick is not instructed to hang up on anyone. Nick is instructed to put everyone who calls in on hold, and then it's really up to me because I'm the one with the call screener whether or not to take the phone call. So I cannot speak of Nick's behavior. I can speak of you being right, and I should have put something on Instagram. But we're doing an interview, and I'm getting the guy's phone number, and we're setting something up for when AJ plays in the Garden, and all this stuff. It would be nice if someone who was just sitting back there, like, I don't know, Nick, came in and snapped a few photos for the Instagram. But what are you going to do? Hardy?
No.
You can't expect the moon from people.
A
listener knew, though.
Right.
He put it together.
I mentioned the video bird feeder earlier. Same thing. This comes from Tom. In theory, awesome, but in practice, terrible. The culprits, squirrels. Put the feeder on my shed within hours. All we saw on the clips were squirrels. Moved it to my deck. Once again, squirrels. Finally, decide to buy a 10-foot PVC pole to place in the middle of my yard away from structures. I made a form to adhere the feeder to the pole. I thought this would solve the problem. How do you get the feed in that thing? You taking out a ladder every time?
I was just going to say, it's out of reach.
I'm still amazed we didn't take a photo with him for Instagram. Like, he was like, follow us on Instagram, and we could have taken a photo and collaborated with him on Instagram. We could have done all of that.
Well, we can screenshot, something from YouTube and put that up there.
Nick! Okay, but it's not the same. But
no, I understand.
I mean, now we're just like picking up breadcrumbs because someone dropped a sandwich. You understand?
Yeah.
It is interesting that we didn't even it occurred to none of us. Now, us in the room, I can get, but I don't understand how it didn't occur to anyone else that we should have done something.
No, that should have happened in this room.
No, Nick. That's not from today.
No,
I'm too weary. I don't need the Nick's get coming after me.
That was a good icebreaker, though, when AJ first sat down with us, when you screamed at Nick to shut up.
Big smile from AJ when you did that.
Yeah.
He liked it.
You had to let him know. You had to let him know who the alpha in the room was. AJ, you're among alphas. Don't worry about it. I'll diminish anyone in my presence. Don't worry about it.
Do you feel bad about not knowing about the U19 gold medal?
No, how the hell would I know anything about that? I mean, I'll take crap for not knowing about it. That was funny, but no, I don't know anything about that. How would I know? The worst thing you can do when you interview with someone like that is know too much about him, because then the audience doesn't, and you're interviewing them like an expert when it's your information to get it's your job to get the information.
Larry King style. Don't read the book.
I wouldn't go that far.
Don't read the book before you have the author on.
Not knowing that Seinfeld wasn't canceled. That would have been a good thing to know. But, I knew he was going to Utah. I knew he went to high school in Utah. I knew he was from Brockton. I knew Ace was his dad. I knew all those things. I've known of him since 7th grade. So I came in with that information. I felt comfortable with it. I wasn't going to Google what he's done the last 3 months.
You prepare enough to have a conversation. If you over-prepare, then it becomes a Q&A, and that's not interesting to listen to.
Like if you showed up to a first date and someone had been like combing over your LinkedIn and stuff, you'd be like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. And believe me, I've made mistakes the other way. It's truly not laziness. Like when I worked in rock radio, sometimes I'd prepare for these interviews. Like I interviewed the Beastie Boys one time. You need a doctorate. They didn't even know what I was talking about. I was like so in the weeds.
Is it the hardest thing to do in radio, like a good interview? I always say it is. It's because it's finding that middle ground between, again, having a conversation that's interesting for the listener, but also not having it turn into a Q&A where you're trying to prove to the person you know so much about them, you're some sort of expert.
The skill in interviewing on the radio is to make someone not so aware that they're talking to an audience.
Yeah.
To try to create an atmosphere where they're just talking to you, which is, hit or miss. I thought, I love that they came in. I would love to establish a relationship with them. And I think that would be good for the show. I want a little credit for exchanging phone numbers. I think that went above what I normally do.
It's the third time you mentioned it now.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Finally, that's what I was after. Now we figured it out.
It's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft a year from now.
And
Well
so
done.
I'm over here shaking hands and kissing babies, and we can't even get anything on Instagram. Hello. And he had to tell me he wanted the video. Hello. Is anyone home? Hello.
Well done, Fred.
Look, you can tell I'm not upset. All I'm saying is that I did what I normally don't do and, put my neck out and got a telephone number. It would have been nice if someone was taking pictures. That's all I'm saying. He had a effing camera crew with him, and they're just walking around. They're not at a studio getting paid to be a show. Now you got me all upset, emailer. I wish I never read that email. Nick's hanging up on him with his good ideas. It's just a mess. It's really a mess. All Nick! Right. That's not me now. People are going to get confused. I'm going to get emails yelling at me for yelling at Nick when I didn't even do it.
That was when Sarah from Everett was in studio.
Well, not taking the picture is just like, that's understandably, that's just, we'll just call that a lapse of reason. The Sarah thing was almost insane, and it's just put someone where I can't see them. That's all. That's not so much to ask. I can't get mad about not taking a picture for Instagram. I didn't think of it. Having Sarah where I couldn't see her was something I was outwardly talking about and mentioning. The third time is when I lost it.
There's one more email here. If you really want credit for doing something today, this comes from Ben. He said, I have an extremely important question for you. What would Jazz Wallach think about the Booty Bandit and his philosophy of not mixing business with pleasure?
Oh, because when the Booty Bandit had the guy that he did the drug deal with, he could no longer look at him as an equal.
What would Jazz Wallach think about that, not mixing business with pleasure?
All right. You buy the you get the nectar. You pay the bumblebee with that sweet booty. High five. You owe me. No, not ramen noodle. Sweet booty. No, that Kool-Aid's not for drinking. That's for your lips.
Can you do it?
Look like a sweet lady. I ain't gay. All right, very good. Wallach doesn't like Jazz Wallach.
I love Jazz Wallach.
All right, look,
love it.
Look, everyone's. We had a very hard show. We had 2 interviews. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox got 6.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
The ESPN's draft day predictor. The Lions reached in the first round when they selected Williams, who's a defensive tackle. They then traded up to make a severe reach in round 3 for Desla, who's a wide receiver at 70. While we don't always know how the league perceives a player, the Lions have made a habit of inefficient behavior. It has worked for this thus far for this regime, but it's a bad process. Yes, it's a terrible process that the Lions have been operating under with those terrible draft picks they've made, where they've hit on like legit 7 guys in every draft. Brad Holmes is a terrible GM. He should not trust his instincts. He should go with the ESPN draft day predictor. That's nonsense. According to the ESPN draft day predictor, and if it was a first-year GM, whatever, but they traded up in the 3rd round, that's your qualm with it? Get the hell out of here. The Lions have made a habit of it, and it's worked thus far. Oh, you don't say it has? It's worked. I mean, as Mont St. Round in the 5th round or wherever the hell he was picked was a good pick. Yeah, they reached for a middle linebacker, Campbell, from Iowa 2 years ago in the 1st round. No one thought they should have taken him in the 1st round. But it wasn't like he's a terrible player. They took the best inside linebacker, and guess what? He's a great inside linebacker. Jesus Christ. It's unbelievable. If anything, they've whiffed on first round picks. They whiffed on that corner from Ohio State that everyone thought was going to be good.
Got rid. It's Okudah. Is that right? That sound right?
Yeah, Okudah. Yeah, and I think he plays for Houston now.
Yeah, that Jahmyr Gibbs selection. Was
yeah,
really
and no one thought they
Yeah,
should have
that
taken
stunk.
Gibbs. It's insane.
They got Gibbs and Laporta back to back, right?
Yes. I mean, just look at their roster from the top down. I mean, they had to get rid of guys this year because they couldn't afford to pay them all. I mean, get out of here. The ESPN draft
Guys
predictor.
that they have drafted, they couldn't afford. They had too many good players that they had drafted.
Right. Okay. Outside of quarterback, I mean, the Gibbs draft pick, St. Brown draft pick, Jameson Williams draft pick, Laporta draft pick. That whole offensive line, Penny Sewell, Glasgow, they're all draft picks. Hutchinson's draft pick. Get out of here with that nonsense. Horrible.
All right, so today not a beach day, and you should say thank goodness, because more than 60% of U.S. beaches tested last year had at least one day where the water was so full of fecal bacteria it failed federal safety standards. Now, they tested and put nearly 2,000 beaches in this study, or excuse me, almost 3,200 beaches. The top offenders, you will need to guess now from what region of the country. Now think about where
South, the Gulf.
I was just going to say Florida Gulf Coast. That's the
Gulf
first thing I was going to say.
Gulf Coast is absolutely number one with a bullet. 84% of beaches had at least one what they call pollution, not pollution, pollution problem day.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like Shark Week.
Where else? What else did
Pollution.
Now you think non-ocean for at least one of these. The top 3.
Okay, so it would have to be a big body of water though.
Big bodies of water. They're
Great Lakes.
There you go, John Wallach. Amazing power of deduction there.
Not bad, huh?
And then the West Coast was actually not great either, 79%. East Coast considered pretty good. Only 54% were flagged for contamination.
Well, you get 8 months out of the year, 9 months out of the year, no one's going to the bathroom in the water. The sewage runoff isn't so bad. In the Gulf Coast, they're dumping all their garbage. People are throwing diapers in the water, the whole thing.
Yes. So they say, why don't they clean it up? Well, the proposed 2026 budget proposal would slash the Clean Water State Revolving Fund.
Right.
So I'm not going to get any cleaner anytime soon.
Well, it's all made up.
Right.
Because, but in fairness, in the coming years, that